about that paper. Young nigga about that paper. Young nigga about that paper. Young nigga about that paper. Yeah. True man, I'm free, I wake up a new episode. I pop out clean and skip up a level though. She talk to me like I'm not me, I get it though. Yeah. I'm so eclectic, on me to the credits roll. Talk down to me, they might have to send medical. I'm out the league, I'm OD, they pathetic though. Look how I move, I'm protected. Shawty so swoon in my presence. The world going through it outside, they unruly, but I keep it cool, they can't press me. I keep it pure with intention. They see what I'm on, ain't no vixen. I might slide through with that top down. I keep it tuned with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Young nigga blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on God, can't pause, nigga, look at how far we progress. Whatever we doing, we keeping it fluid, I don't see a thing. Young nigga about that paper. 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 Hop on the jet, had to switch to the coast. One of a kind, I've been playing that role. They pay me to play me, I needed it full. It's real if I said I meant what I spoke. I'm legend, it's written, I shake up the city. Spin block till I'm dizzy, won't ever go broke. I'm chose, I must like do it a top down. I keep in tune with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Young nigga blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on God, can't pause, nigga, look at how far we progress. Whatever we doing, we keeping it fluid, I don't see a thing. Young nigga about that paper. 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 Put it on me, I'm blessed. Big bag, but I feel the sky, no stress. Can't ground me, I know this since when I had less. Look at how far we progress. Fluid, I don't see a threat.
Ayy, look, ayy,
Literally making something out of nothing. Then you feel me? I'm glad to be in that position because everything is broke.
Every time I elevated something to celebrate. John Jones, I went to heavyweight on these featherweights, but I ain't backing down, I'ma take the weight up another plate. Leave nothing but crumbs, that's how you eat, let me demonstrate. Decade in the game, I ain't lost a step, I just upped the pace. Watched them up the pay, I put in the reps and pick up the chase. Then it up the balance, but we ain't even no miles away. It ain't just a talent, I took the challenge and walked the craze. Fell a couple times, but I got back up with some saving grace. Definitely leader, a pastor still need a preacher. Talk to me when I'm shallow, lend a lens to see deeper. Closer in to see higher up, that's too much for the speakers, but ain't much for the thinkers. Clouded, I rush to the lower end to see what's in the deeper. Found a message to send itself, we're much younger and eager. Keep your youth and maintain your health, cause the future is trouble. But you made for the struggle, and you born with the hustle. Any imagery less than greatness, erase it and double down on your first mind. I come from the worst kind, made life before I found shine. No chain, it was all grind. I'm him and they wanna dim, but my lumen's way off the chart. I'm human, I can't admit, but my spirit up with the stars. I'm clear as I ever been, this feeling won't never end. They watching, I know this, but it ain't knocking the focus. I'm highest and hottest, but I still be I'm a champion, I'm a win, I know. I'm a grind for mine, they can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. I'm a win, I know. I'm a grind for mine, they can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. Life been so crazy, I can't do nothing but look high. This is just like I prayed, but ain't like I thought. I'm my way and sitting in my zone while they plotting out my grave. I'm plotting my next stop out state, getting that pay. I kept it true, I can't say how they played. I'm just gonna state what I knew and thank God I got grace. Grace for my years I've been putting in that pain. The bounce back insane, the build up took time, but wipe wiped up the stains. I'm mic'd up is live. Tap in, let's get gains. It ain't no.
All right, y'all know how this goes. Give me a second. Oh Lord. Anyways, I ain't got no money. I'm just telling you secondhand stuff twice a week. Don't come for me. I ain't got no goddamn money. I just told you that. If you want to sue somebody, find the damn news outlets. They got the money. Anyways, let's begin. God dang it, you.
Let's get it. Green light, let's get it. Green light, let's get it. Green light, let's get it. I'm the future, I'm in it. Check score, I'm winning. Green light, let's get it. I just win. Win. I'm on 10.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Kisu. As you can see, I refuse to leave this beach. I done took my braids out. I look a hot mess, but this is the best you're going to get. So let me go ahead and introduce myself. Where the hell's my stuff? Okay, there it is.
Hello. It's me.
It's always me. And now, as always, we're going to start with a little celebrity news because that's how we do. So give me a second here. Man crashes through security gate at Beyoncé and Jay-Z's East Hampton home. Real talk, I thought the motherfuckers was in Europe. I thought that's where they lived. I thought that's where their house was. But apparently, I'm wrong. So a man really looked at Beyoncé and Jay-Z's multi-million-dollar East Hampton estate and said, you know what this driveway needs? Me. And spoiler alert, the driveway disagreed. A 63-year-old Bronx man identified as Keith Jonathan Webster was arrested after allegedly driving his Subaru, man, really a Subaru, through the front security gate of the couple's home at a high rate of speed. Police say he failed to stop before plowing through the closing gate, causing significant damage to the property. Now, before anyone puts the on their tinfoil hats and starts yelling conspiracy, authorities have been very clear. There is no evidence that Beyoncé or Jay-Z were specifically targeted. In fact, investigators say Webster reportedly stopped at another nearby residence beforehand asking about a woman, appeared confused, and was disoriented during his court appearance. Oh, Lord, the boy is crazy. Police also say there were no weapons found, no threatening notes, and Webster made no statements about Beyoncé or Jay-Z. He was on another level. He didn't give a shit who it was during this incident anyways. He has no criminal record, making this story more confusing than sinister at this point. After being arrested, Webster complained of pain and was transported to the hospital before being returned to police custody. During his arraignment, a judge issued an order of protection prohibiting him from contacting either Jay-Z or Beyoncé. He was subsequently sent for a mental health evaluation. He might not even know who the hell they are. And can we collectively appreciate that security? Give me a second. I don't know why this button's here. Security did exactly what security is supposed to do. The gates lost its life in the line of duty, but everybody was reportedly safe. Sometimes being the real MVP means becoming an extremely expensive pile of splinters. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported at the residence, and it remains unclear. It remains unclear whether Beyoncé or Jay-Z were at home at the time. God dang, they might not have even been at home. Anyways, the investigation is still going. I just wanted to get y'all in here. Really, that's the only reason I reported that, because I could give a damn about celebrities. But let me bring this back down and let me go ahead and introduce and say whatever. If you like what I'm doing, or if you don't like what I'm doing and you have a suggestion, please hit me up in the comments, because some of y'all comments, I really don't give a damn how you feel about the damn story. I'm reporting it for a damn reason. I'm just saying it. But anyways, please like, share, and where the hell am I? Where's my subscribe? God dang, where's my subscribe? Where is it? That is subscribe. And I'm going to be right back once I show my commercial. We're going to get some stupid shit. So, yeah, go ahead and get angry, because this shit is about to get stupid as hell. Where the hell's my commercial now? I'm so disoriented. There we go.
It's just me and the fam. 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 Yeah. It's just me and the fam. See my little Tay, that's my hype girl, that's my mascot. No one's go for hours and some hours till we pass out. Stay inside the house, turned up with the racks out. Stay inside the house, turned.
All right, y'all. We need justice for and healing for Lon Hartman. This story apparently has taken 7 days just to hit the goddamn media, and it still is not popping. So we need to get this to pop, please. Now, family, I need y'all to pay attention to this story because it has barely made it outside of social media, and that needs to change. All right. D. Allen Lon Hartman, a black youth mentor from Detroit, was seriously injured during the Blissfest Folk and Roots Festival in northern Michigan. The festival took place July 10th through July 12th near Harbor Springs in Emmett County. I ain't never been to the state, so I'm shocked as hell about this. I never heard of Blissfest before. According to the Emmett County Sheriff's Office, an adult man suffered severe lacerations to his neck in the festival campground and required an emergency response. Lon's family says this was not simply a medical emergency. They say Lon was violently assaulted, suffered life-threatening injuries, and required hospitalization and intensive care. His family is also concerned that the attack may have been racially motivated. I'm pretty sure it was racially motivated because from what I heard, Blissfest is about 98% pale people. Okay, I'm not going to say it because I don't want nobody yelling at me. They're pale, and that's what it is. They're paler than me. Anyways. Lon's family says this was not simply a medical emergency. Let's see here now. And that is where the question is, because basically, they haven't, the sheriff's office says investigators have not determined whether Lon's injuries were self-inflicted or caused during an altercation involving another person. How does a man suffer severe neck lacerations at a festival attended by thousands of people? Yet more than a week later, we still do not know where he was found, whether a weapon was recovered, whether witnesses were interviewed, or whether anyone has been identified as a person of interest. Y'all, please spread this goddamn news out. If they ain't gonna do the damn job, we got to. Lon's family and friends say they have struggled to get answers from law enforcement. They also accuse Blissfest organizers of failing to be transparent about what happened. Blissfest has only publicly described it as a serious medical incident in the campground. Let me be clear. Authorities have not confirmed that this was a hate crime. I feel it is. And no suspect has been arrested or charged. But we need to find those assholes. But Lon's family deserves a complete investigation, and the public deserves truthful information about how someone receives catastrophic injuries at a major festival. I've never heard of this thing. Lon is not just a name circulating online. He works with Friends of the Children, Detroit, mentoring young people and helping them learn entrepreneurship, financial literacy, which we all need, and personal empowerment. He is also pursuing a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. We need him. This story needs witnesses. It needs journalists, and it needs transparency. If you attended Blissfest and saw or heard anything connected to this incident, contact the Emmett County Sheriff's Office. Share Lon Hartman's name. Share the family's fundraiser. This is the page. You can go ahead and look for it. It's Justice and Healing for Lon Hartman. You can find that on the internet. That's the name of the GoFundMe. Make sure his story does not quietly disappear while a family waits for answers, because somebody knows what happened at that campground, and Lon deserves the truth. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how many times I have to say this. If you are a minority, that includes women, veterans, anybody who is at a disadvantage, please do not travel alone. And if you do travel alone, you better have something with you that you can quickly shock the shit out of them with. This is ridiculous. This is becoming a trait. Y'all just getting these poor folks and getting them when they're by themselves or they're the only person. Please, y'all, don't be the token. I'm not saying he was the token. I'm saying don't be the token, though. And I'm not saying that in a way that, it's like token. I'm saying don't be the only one. That's basically what I'm trying to say without in so many ways. But seriously, this story needs to get out. I'm shocked as hell because when I looked online about the story, I didn't find out until social media talked about it and did put it on YouTube. Then I went and looked, and the only story I could find properly was from Facebook, from the sheriff's department. So please, y'all, pressure the goddamn media because this is ridiculous. This man has been struggling for over a week. I gave you the dates. Let me keep moving. I got to get my stories up because we got a lot of stories. I thought it would be calmer, but hell no. The stories just keep going. And they keep going. Where's that damn story? No, that's not the right story. There's another story before that one. Unfortunately, we lost another person in this shit, and it's ridiculous. I'm getting tired of losing folks. All right, y'all. Give me a second, because this shit ain't good. Here we go. Judy World's family demands justice in rapper's fatal, yeah. This story is absolutely heartbreaking. Houston rapper Judy World, whose real name was Crystal Jordan, Crystal with a K, was just 28 years old when her life was cut short after a confrontation that her family says never should have happened. According to police, Jordan went to a Houston home to speak with her boyfriend's mother on his behalf while he was currently incarcerated. Instead, prosecutors say an argument broke out that ended with Jordan being in the leg. God dang, there's a lot of blood vessels in there that could end. And apparently that's what happened. That wound ultimately proved fatal after she was transported to the hospital. They got a main vein or something. That's horrible. Now, here's where this story becomes even more devastating. Judy's 10-year-old daughter witnessed the entire attack. Man, y'all better get that poor baby some help. Family members say the little girl begged the suspect to stop and repeatedly asked why she was hurting her mother. No child should ever have those words become part of their life story. 28-year-old Kayla Winita, man, they better never spell that like that again. Winita Rogers, who is the sister of Jordan's boyfriend, has been charged with manslaughter. What the hell do you mean manslaughter? Y'all really quick to do the manslaughter charges, but when it comes to someone who deserves fair, they get life. Fuck y'all. However, Jordan's family is demanding prosecutors upgrade that charge to murder, as you should. They allege Rogers came outside armed with a butcher knife, threatening to unalive Jordan multiple times before the attack, and acted intentionally. Jordan's mother says this wasn't an accident or a fight that simply got out of hand. She believes this was jealousy, premeditation, and murder. Ultimately, the determination will be up to investigators and prosecutors as the case moves forward. Friends and family remember Judy World as a talented artist who began writing music as a child and was building her career in Houston's rap scene. She could have had a come up. Today, however, the conversation isn't about streams or followers. It's about a daughter who no longer has a mother and a family left researching for answers. And I can say something. Hey, Joker. We have got to stop normalizing petty disagreements becoming permanent tragedies. Somewhere along the line, we've become entirely too comfortable letting temporary emotions make lifelong decisions. There is not a single argument worth leaving a child motherless. Justice will have its day in court. That little girl, however, has a lifetime ahead of her without one of the people who loved her most. Y'all some sick bastards doing that shit. You really are. But before I go any further, let me go ahead and give y'all an update about one of my podcasts. This Friday, why can't this thing go down? And for some reason, it refuses to go down. Okay, there it goes. My Friday grown folk shit is going to be a little special. I'm actually going to cam up, not all the way. You're going to see my hands and stuff. We are going to be holding a representational funeral, because as you know, I do have issues with why the fuck did it freeze? Give me a second here. I hate when shit freezes. It's the fucking there it is. It's OBS acting a fool. Sometimes I hate dealing with that. But anyways, I'm basically going to be having a funeral for my childhood that I basically got robbed of. So if you're into emotional healing and shit, please come and be a part of it. I don't mind. This is something that the only reason I'm doing it is because if it can help someone else fucking not go off the deep end, then fine. You can all fucking dissect me. That's all I'm gonna do. Yes. Magic talked me into it, and I felt like if it helps, it helps. So let's go on, because this next story is stupid as hell. Shit, it get on my nerves. Parents are outraged after summer camp turns into fight club. Real talk, I had a cousin turn a front yard into fight club. I had to beat that little boy's ass in front of his own house. I beat him into the house, and then I had this big ass scratch right there at the bridge of my nose because he scratched me. Anyway, I was in kindergarten when that shit happened. Anyways, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if I drop my child off at summer camp, I expect arts and crafts, juice boxes, and maybe an argument over whose turn it is on the swing. I do not expect the unofficial junior varsity version of Fight Club, you ignorant bastards. Parents in Dalton, Illinois are furious after disturbing videos surfaced appearing to show children physically fighting at summer camp while adults stood nearby. The video quickly went viral online and sparked both a police investigation and the camp shutdown. Good grief. What do you mean you knew this was her idea? You know, I'm kind of offended by that, low key. Anyways, Dalton let's see here now. Disturbing videos appearing of children physically fighting at summer camp. Yeah, I said that. Several clips appear to show children punching, kicking, and wrestling one another as adults can be seen watching or recording portions of the incident. Unsurprisingly, parents had one question: where were the adults adulting? The camp, operated by Rucker Athletics, has denied organizing this and say there is a zero tolerance policy for violence. Camp representatives stated that what people are seeing online is not representative of the camp and the entire program. You sure? And that staff intervened when the incident occurred. They have also apologized to the parents. Village officials, however, weren't interested in waiting for the summer camp. The remix. Authorities ordered the camp shut down pending authority investigations. I'm stuck on authority. Further investigations and a hearing. Police are currently investigating the incident shown in videos. Now listen. Yeah, you was right, god dang it. You was right. She suggested this shit. People are growing. Jackasses. Anyways, now listen. Kids are going to argue. Kids are going to push boundaries. That's why adults are there. The adults are literally the downloadable content that keeps children from becoming tiny UFC fighters before lunch. And can we retire this idea that every problem between children needs to be solved by letting them work it out? No, they're 8. Their retirement plan is fruit snacks and asking for Robux, whatever the hell that is. They don't need conflict resolution that includes an uppercut. That's your job, and that doesn't mean you uppercut them either. Thankfully, authorities intervened before anything more serious was reported. The investigation remains ongoing as officials determine what exactly happened and whether additional action is warranted. Real talk, after my little fight club situation, yeah, my cousin got jumped by about 3 or 4 different relatives because I was in kindergarten. Anyways, that's a fucked up shit. So let's keep moving. Let's see. Wait a minute. What is this? It looks like, yep, it's an update. Let me bring this down. I got an update for y'all. And I need y'all to be ready for this shit because 2 stories are getting updated and they're both fucked up. So get ready because I told you. You know what? You got dang it. You're gonna quit picking at me. How the hell do I get picked on by my moderator? This happened again. This is the second time. Anyways, give me a second. Where the hell is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. This is where it is. Still in their head. Lord have mercy on your soul. Nolan Wells' mother responds to anonymous hate mail before the funeral. Something wrong with y'all. Something is wrong with this fucking people. I don't know what it is. Were you possessed when you were born? Did you never go to church? I just want to know. Did you get a hug? I wish I was making this story up. I'm not. Imagine losing your 18-year-old son. Imagine spending weeks begging for answers. Imagine planning his funeral and then imagine walking to your mailbox and finding hate mail. Because apparently some people weren't raised right. Nolan Wells' mother, Christine Wells Wansley, revealed that she received anonymous hate mail just days before she is scheduled to bury her son. The mail included a photograph taken during the family press conference that had been defaced with arrows and dollar signs, seemingly implying that the family's search for answers is somehow financially motivated. Do you know how much it goes into raising a person? Into putting it's sacrifice, fucker. You're sick. Let's be clear. Nolan Wells was 18 years old. He disappeared on July 4th after traveling to Horn Island. Children are investment, okay? You lose that investment, ain't enough money in the world to fix that shit. With friends for a holiday gathering, his body was found 2 days later. His official cause of death has not yet been determined, and both an autopsy and toxicology reports remain pending. His family continues to seek answers surrounding the circumstances of his death. In response to the anonymous sender, Christine wrote, "Whoever sent this, may the Lord have mercy on your soul." She also added that they were bold enough to send the hate message, but not bold enough to send a return address. Ooh, Lord, yeah. You trolls get on my nerves. How the hell did you get her address? Probably somebody you know. And I have to say something here. We have gotten entirely too comfortable forgetting that there are human beings behind these headlines. True crime is not a spectator sport. Social media is not a jury duty, and grieving parents are not your entertainment. You don't have to agree with the family's questions. You don't have to follow every case. But mailing hate to a mother before she buries her child? That's not being chronically online. That's being cruel. Full stop, bitch. Christine has been open about her grief, describing it as a feeling like an elephant sitting on her chest. I was told a long time. Losing a child is the worst pain a parent would ever go through, and nobody should ever have to. She also repeatedly asks supporters to remain peaceful as the family continues pursuing answers. Nolan's funeral services are scheduled for July 20th, as those questions remain unanswered. Now, if you're spending your free time anonymously harassing grieving parents, perhaps the person you should be investigating is the one staring back at you in the mirror, bitch. Some mail deserves to be returned to sender. Shame should be one of them. You ignorant demons. God dang it. I can't stand these people. I really can't. They get on my fucking nerves. But we're not done. We have another fucking update. This shit right here is ridiculous. Remember when I told y'all about this? Teens charged in unaliving plot that left 5 family members dead. The fuck is wrong with y'all kids? Jesus. There are stories that leave you angry. Then there are stories that leave you asking for questions. Like, for what? This is one of them. Authorities say they've uncovered an alleged motive in the East St. Louis family massacre that left 5 people unalived and 2 others critically injured. And if the allegations are true, 5 lives were stolen because 2 teenagers simply wanted to be together. Man, it ain't that serious. Run the fuck away. Shit. The suspects are 16-year-old Jamir Davis, who is being held and being charged as an adult, and his 15-year-old girl. They're both teenagers. How the fuck can you do that? Is that even... Well, they're both sick as fuck, but still. They're both children. Anyways, 15-year-old girlfriend, whose case currently remains in juvenile court while prosecutors seek to have her tried as an adult as well. According to investigators, the victims were all members of the 15-year-old's family. The 5 victims are Patricia A. May, 74, even a grandma, Cherie or Cherry L. May, 49, Shania W. Thompson, 25, Devin D. May, 24. Why did they have all their names in there? Quentin L. Thompson, 21. At least 4 of those people had a whole lot of potential left in them. Shit, even the oldest one. Who knows? You never know. Two additional family members survived the pew pew and remained hospitalized. Investigators say the pew pew took place across 3 separate locations in East St. Louis. Man, you motherfuckers playing this shit too good. That's fucked up, man. Authority, and I'm not giving them a compliment. I mean, this took thought, and y'all are possessed. Whew. Authorities eventually tracked the teen suspects to a state park where they were taken into custody following a police pursuit. Now, here's where this story somehow becomes even more disturbing. Whew, I don't know how the hell that's possible. But give me a second. I got to get back up there. This shit gets worse. Prosecutors have revealed text messages allegedly exchanged between the teens. One message reportedly said, "I love blood," while another suggested they could finally be together if her family was gone. Family members have also stated that the 15-year-old had been angry with relatives before the unalivings. Hey, I've been upset with my family, and they've blocked me as well. But I never thought about unaliving them motherfuckers. Can't y'all just run away? Shit. If you could plan this shit, you could have planned a fucking escape route. Ignorant bastards. Medgar Evers is facing 5 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, aggravated battery charges, and several additional felony charges. Prosecutors have also alleged that one victim's thumb had been severed, resulting in dismemberment charge being filed. Joker, Magic. Somebody needs to hear this. Leave people's thumbs alone. Look what happened. I'm not even trying to make jokes, but shit. And I need to say something to young people watching tonight. Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, not a relationship goal. If your love story requires eliminating 5 family members, that's not a romance. That's horror. And I don't want to see it. That's one horror I don't want to see. 5 people are dead. Multiple generations of one family are gone forever. There is no happily ever after waiting at the end of this story. And somewhere in all of this are empty seats at dinner tables that will never be filled again. Man, you motherfuckers, just fucking run away. You ignorant bastards. Why did you have to do all of that? It was just you're doing too much. That is like the absolute personification. Exactly. For now, you got some darkness in you. You and Magic belong together. No wonder she always looking for your behind. Anyways, we're going to keep moving because we have some other news. And it's fucked up too, but not as bad as this one. Man lunges at Craig Melvin. The man has 2 first names. Hurls N-word after breaching security. Are we sure security isn't like slacking on purpose? I'm just saying. Some people wake up and choose peace. Others wake up and decide that federal charges and public embarrassment are the move. Today, we're talking about door number 2. You're dark. You and Magic. You're some dark Got the nerve to say they're children of God. Don't know what to say. Today, we're talking about door number 2. NBC's Today Show became the scene of a frightening security breach after a man allegedly slipped past security at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, made his way into an unauthorized area near Studio 1A. Why are we telling exactly where they are? Oh, you some stupid people doing this shit. And confronted co-anchor Craig Melvin. According to reports, the 41-year-old, damn, you look older than me. He ain't got no eyebrows. No wonder I'm looking at him. 41-year-old intruder was initially looking for Al Roker. What the fuck did Roker do? When he couldn't find him, authorities say he turned his attention to Melvin. So anybody brown, I got it. Lunging at him while shouting the N-word. Craig immediately alerted security, who should have already been on his ass. And the NYPD officer working at the building quickly took the suspect into custody. Thankfully, no one was injured. The suspect, identified as, you ain't gonna believe this last name here, Andrew Truelove, has been charged with burglary, menacing criminal trespass as hate crimes and harassment. Reports also indicate this was not his first encounter with law enforcement, with several prior arrests this year alone. What the fuck is wrong? That person don't need to be on the streets at all. Sir, your last name is a false advertisement. We should sue you. Craig Melvin later took to social media to reassure viewers, saying he was doing just fine and thanking everyone who reached out. In true journalist fashion, he was back doing his job almost immediately afterwards. NBC released a statement confirming the security incident and announced it is reviewing its security protocols. That's what I'm saying. Because if that motherfucker got in, they should have been following his ass, not letting him do a little self-tour. And frankly, I should hope so, because if someone can walk into one of the most recognizable television studios in America looking for one black host and then decides another black host will do, that's not just a bad day at work. That is a security concern. And here's why my cynicism kicks in. Racism has always been stupid, but racism is somehow getting increasingly inconvenient. Imagine throwing your entire life away because your emotional support prejudice told you it was a good idea to trespass Rockefeller Center. Couldn't be me. And after all that, you could barely find any pictures of him. Man, did you miss it? I just reported on this dude from the Blissfest that almost got decapitated. Only black dude. It was 98% the other tone of folks. And it still hasn't hit the news. They're talking about it's been 7 days and they're just now getting it at least to social media. We need to push it to the news. Good grief, this is some sick ass shit. But anyways, can we stop pretending words don't matter? The N-word wasn't incidental here. Authorities are treating several of these charges as hate crimes for a reason. We can disagree about many things in this country, but showing up to terrorize people because of the color of their skin shouldn't be one of them. I've been taught so many times, I'm rubber, you're glue. But let me say this much. Girl, I'm not joking. You missed that one. You're going to have to do a rewatch because that was the first fucking story I talked about. If you look at the thumbnail, I got it up there. That's his GoFundMe picture. Anyways, the good news is Craig Melvin is safe, even though he has 2 freaking first names and no eyebrows. The bad news is common sense remains missing and has yet to be located. I told you, I feel like I'm in a really fucked up comic book and I want out, damn it. I don't want season 2. I don't want volume 2 episode shit. Get me the fuck out of this bullshit. Anyways, you knew I was going to report on some real shit, some more real shit that actually could affect us too. So here we go. 2 U.S. soldiers unalived. 3rd service member is missing. Actually, I heard it was 4. I heard it was 3 were unalived and 1 is missing. Where he is, I don't know. I'll go back after the live ends. Okay, cool. All right. So war has a funny way of turning headlines into numbers. 2 killed, 1 missing, or like I told you, 4. People are saying it's 4. 16 dead. And sometimes we forget that every number was somebody's child, somebody's spouse, somebody's best friend waiting for a text message that's never coming. 2 U.S. or 3 U.S. service members were unalived and another remains missing after Iran launched a ballistic missile and drone attack on, oh my goodness, Mawafaq Faulty Air Base in Jordan. Couldn't you just say Jordan? 4 additional service members were injured, but have since been treated and returned to duty. I would have quit. U.S. Central Command has not yet released the names of those deceased while their families are being notified. At least y'all got some dignity. The attack marks the first confirmed American combat fatality since fighting resumed in the current phase of the conflict that the fucking orangutan started. Sadly, it also brings the total number of U.S. military deaths connected to the war to 16. And let's not forget about all them goddamn girls, them little babies. More than 420 American service members have reportedly been wounded since the conflict began earlier this year. Would y'all leave these motherfuckers alone? See, I told you. If everybody just left everybody the fuck alone, we would have world peace. I promise you. In response, the United States launched additional strikes. You started this shit. Fuck. Against Iranian military targets Friday evening as tensions throughout the region continue to escalate. Military officials say there have been multiple Iranian attacks on American positions in Jordan over the past week alone. And these motherfuckers are so loudmouth, it's not like you got any secrets anymore in the military. Now, I know whenever we cover stories like this, they immediately become political. People pick sides before they finish reading the headline. But before we get to the politics, let's remember there are families getting phone calls tonight that none of us would ever want to receive. Exactly. Nigeria too. Don't forget Rwanda. Y'all fucking up everything. Can we leave people to fuck alone and let them just fucking leave everybody alone? Go back to your fucking country if you're causing shit. Stay in that bitch and leave everybody else alone. I mean that for everyone. America, leave fucking Iran alone. Iran, get your shit straight. Fucking Israel, leave fucking Palestine the fuck alone. If America is fucking with Nigeria, leave them the fuck alone. Whoever the fuck is fucking with Rwanda, leave Rwanda the fuck alone. You genocidal motherfuckers. Do it to yourself. Shit. And I didn't say your people. I said yourself. By yourself. Whew. I just want to say, seriously, this is some fucked up shit. I'm tired of it. And I want to say particularly because I know we have veterans watching this show. We can disagree about wars. We can disagree about presidents. We can disagree about foreign policies. What we shouldn't be up for debate is extending humanity and respect to people who are sent into harm's way. And that jackass called veterans losers. There is all the ones that died. There is also one service member who is still missing. Missing. That's a word I don't think we spend enough time sitting with. Somewhere tonight, a family isn't grieving. They aren't celebrating because they're trapped in that terrible space in between called not knowing, okay? So they don't know if he's being tortured. They don't know if he's under rubble. They don't know if he's just walking back to the damn fort. They don't know shit. And that's a horrible place to be. We'll continue following this story as more information becomes available, including identities of the fallen service members once their families have been notified. Whew, I swear I hate this damn country. Look what the fuck you're doing. And apparently this is an update. I remember seeing these kids. I didn't really want to report it because it was just too sad. But apparently there's good news on this one. So let's check it out. 80K twins, Kamar Williams contacts family after disappearance, asks for more time away. You know, you could actually tell motherfuckers you have plans instead of scaring people and throwing their damn blood pressure up to fucking sky high. Anyways. Oh, no, I forgot to turn this shit off. Here we go. I got to remember to turn it on too because shit, I got an alarm and I'll be still asleep. Anyways. Thankfully, this story has the kind of update we do not get nearly enough of. Kamar Williams has contacted his family and is safe. Kamar, one half of the popular social media duo known as the 80K twins, had been missing for nearly 2 days after leaving home and cutting off communication. His brother, Kiel, I hope I'm saying that right, turned to social media for help after Kamar stopped answering calls, texts, and switched off his phone location. On July 18th, the twins' father, Travell Williams, announced that Kamar had finally made contact. According to the family statement, Kamar said he had been dealing with overwhelming anxiety and needed time. Now I remember, I saw them on Facebook, and needed time alone to think about his identity, his future, and the direction of his life. Kamar also reportedly explained that being constantly connected to another person, especially as a twin and public figure, can make it difficult to figure out who you are as an individual. He asked his family and followers to give him a few days of privacy before returning. Could you left a note so we wouldn't have to make this a story? Man, you wasting everybody goddamn time. And honestly, I understand needing a break. Social media can make people feel like they owe the public 24-hour access to their lives. You'll never get it from me. I'm too batshit crazy. Their relationships and their nervous system. They do not. But I also understand why his family panicked when you leave without explaining where you're going. Stop answering everybody and turn off your location. The people who love you are not thinking he is taking a wellness retreat. They are imagining very horrible possibilities available, especially in this time and age with a fucking orangutan in charge of the fucking country. So yes, protect your peace. Take time away. Turn off the apps, but please send one little text message saying I'm safe. I just need space before the whole internet starts organizing a search party, please. Kamar said he is receiving support through a mental health organization arranged by his publicist. You know, the publicist could have said something too. Shit. His family thanked everyone who shared missing person posts and helped spread the word. The most important part is Kamar is alive and safe and in contact with people who love him. If I was Kamar's family, as soon as he came through the door, I'd kick his ass, personally, me, just for scaring the shit out of people. Sometimes disappearing from social media is self-care. Disappearing from your family without warning is how everybody's blood pressure ends up needing self-care too. And how you get your ass whooped. Because I promise you, had it been me, I'd have waited for your ass to come home. I'd still be at the damn door waiting for your ass. Just so I could get you with a belt. I don't care how old your ass is. I know my last woman was at 14. It was in December. I'll never forget it. It was a weekday. Anyways, let me see. What is this other story here? Okay. Now that is it for that. Now I'm about to give you several stories of news you need to use. For real. God dang it. Nine leading civil rights groups predict the largest coverage decline in modern history, and Black Americans will suffer most. I hate these damn stories, but I got to tell the truth. There are some stories that don't make enough noise because they don't come with police sirens or viral videos. This is one of them. But make no mistake, this story could impact millions of people. 9 of the nation's leading civil rights organizations are sounding the alarm, warning that proposed changes to Medicaid and healthcare enrollment policies could produce the largest decline in health coverage in modern American history, with Black Americans expected to be disproportionately affected. It's always us. The coalition includes major civil rights and advocacy groups that say millions of Americans could lose health care coverage because of new eligibility requirements, increased paperwork burdens, and changes affecting both Medicaid and plans purchased through the healthcare marketplace. They argue that Black communities, which are more likely to rely on Medicaid because of longstanding economic disparities, will be hit particularly hard. I hate that word. According to the report, these changes could result in millions of people losing health insurance, not because they're ineligible, but because they're unable to successfully navigate new administrative requirements. We've seen this movie before. Sometimes people don't lose benefits because they don't qualify. They lose because life got in the way. Let's be honest for a second. Have you ever been put on hold with customer service? Filled out paperwork that somehow requires paperwork to prove your paperwork is illegitimate? Man, I was the middle motherfucking person. I was on the phone with fucking insurance companies for 3 fucking hours at the same time trying to calm down the damn customer, get her patient, get their motherfucking shit right, make sure that they're getting ready to go get the damn x-ray or some shit. Jump in. They will leave you on hold for 3 fucking hours. I promise you. Man, I was, talk about multitask. Man, had a website tell you that your password must contact 2 uppercase letters, 1 lowercase letter, a symbol, your blood type, and the name of your first grade teacher, Miss Brown. Now imagine that standing between you and seeing your doctor. Civil rights leaders say this isn't simply a healthcare issue. They view it as a civil rights issue because healthcare access directly affects employment, education, financial stability, and life expectancy. And before anyone says, well, people should just fill out the forms, let's remember something. Working 2 jobs doesn't come with extra hours in the day. Caring for aging parents doesn't pause because a letter got lost in the mail. Being poor has always been expensive in America, and sometimes it's expensive in both dollars and time. Healthcare policy isn't always exciting television. Why do you think that dude got pew-pewed? But it becomes very exciting when you're standing at the pharmacy counter and discover your insurance card has suddenly become a very expensive bookmark. Because I'm telling you, I done gone for my damn meds, my mental shit that has very hard withdrawal symptoms. I'm not joking. I can't stand straight if I'm off this shit for more than a day now. Shit. Anyways, because I'm dizzy. That's how dizzy. But I force myself, and I don't think you want me on the road. Anyways, you discover your insurance card has become the most expensive bookmark ever. We'll continue following this story as more details emerge regarding implementation, timelines, and the potential number of Americans who could ultimately be affected. Can we just overthrow this fucking place? You fucking rioted for an orangutan. Why can't you do it for yourself? Shit. Moving on. This is some more shit you need. North Carolina Republicans move to reduce Sunday and campus early voting. See, you need this. Have you ever noticed that voting suddenly becomes incredibly complicated when groups of people start showing up in large numbers? Funny how that works. Republican officials and GOP-controlled election boards in North Carolina are moving to reduce Sunday early voting and relocate some polling locations away from college campuses ahead of the 2026 elections. I can't stand people in this world. I really do. Free will, look what it did. Critics argue the changes could disproportionately affect black voters and college students. Now let's talk about why Sunday matters. For decades, black churches have organized what's known as Souls to the Polls, where congregations head to vote together after a Sunday service. It's not simply about convenience. It's become both a cultural tradition and a civic engagement. And real talk, I think it's a safety issue too. Because at least you know your ass ain't gonna get whooped by yourself. Everybody there, everybody getting a share of the ass whooping, so it won't be that bad unless you want to fight back. Anyways, engagement efforts that have helped increase voter participation within black communities. One example being highlighted is Elizabeth City State University. I ain't never heard of that. Where officials are proposing moving the county's only early voting site from the university's graduate center to the county elections office. They did that shit in my town when I was in Louisiana. Students and voting advocates argue that the change could create transportation barriers for students without vehicles, requiring them to travel farther to cast their ballots. Supporters for changes have argued that election administrators should have flexibility in determining polling locations and schedules. Opponents contend that reducing access points could make voting more difficult for communities that have historically relied on those locations and voting periods. Okay, and here's where I really get irritated. America is absolutely amazing at making simple things complicated. We can hold on, give me a second. We can order groceries from our couch in 12 minutes. We can have dinner delivered by a stranger using GPS technology that was developed by a black woman. And it's also developed for military applications. But somehow every fucking election cycle, we're told that making it easier for citizens to vote is really fucking a difficult problem. We're told that. Interesting. This isn't about telling people who to vote for. It's about understanding how they're able to vote in the first place. Real talk. I called the fucking what is it? Whatever they call it, townhouse or whatever. I called them and made sure I was registered and active for voting because I'm voting. Fuck that shit. And I know where my birth certificate is. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or politically exhausted and surviving entirely on memes and iced coffee, participating in elections requires knowing the rules because sometimes those rules change. So here's your homework assignment for free. Don't wait until election day to figure out where, when, and how you can vote. Check early, check twice. Tell your auntie, your cousin, and that one family member who somehow doesn't believe deadlines apply to them, because being informed isn't partisan. It's fucking political. Seriously, practical. And I need you to fucking find out where your fucking serious paperwork is. Where's your social security card? Where's your birth certificate? Everybody should know where that shit is. Moving on, because this one is really for people who like to tap. Why experts say tap to pay scams are becoming harder to spot. This is news you need. Scammers have officially entered their tech era, and unfortunately, Some of them are apparently better at keeping up with technology than people trying to reset their Facebook password. I never do. It's annoying. Experts are warning that tap-to-pay scams are becoming increasingly difficult to detect. And while we're on this subject, before I go any further, I just wanted to say I have infiltrated at least 4 of those white pride groups on Facebook. I have sent invites and put links into other links where we can find these cookouts. I'm just letting you know. Going back to this. Anyways, fraudsters are obtaining credit card information through phishing texts, hacked accounts, data breaches, and identity theft. Once they have enough information, they can attempt to add your card to a digital wallet or gain access to accounts where your payment information is already saved. Suddenly, someone is buying gift cards while you're sitting at home wondering whether to order Chinese food or tacos for dinner. And I'm real talk. I'd be nervous about that shit because I'm like, do I recognize this? Okay, I remember this. Know where the hell your transactions are going. And let me bust a myth real quickly. The scam isn't usually happening because someone walked by and magically stole your card information when you paid for your Starbucks. Contactless payment technology is actually extremely secure. The problem usually happens before you ever tap your phone or card. Here's how it works. You receive a text message saying your bank account has suspicious activity or your toll payment is overdue. Or apparently your package has been attempting to arrive at your house since Obama administration. Girl, yeah, I'm just going in them bitches and acting a fool. I went to one and said I have come to colonize. Anyways, let's talk about this. When you get these messages, you panic, you click the link and enter your information on what looks like a legitimate website. Congratulations, you've accidentally become internship program for scammers. Then your bank sends you a legitimate verification code. The scammer immediately calls or texts asking you to provide that code. You think you're securing your account. What you're actually doing is helping them break into it. Please hear me when I say this. If someone asks you for your verification code, the answer is no. Not no-ish, not maybe, not after they explain really nicely why they need it. No. God dang it. I'm just saying, these people be doing some crazy ass shit. My favorite thing about scammers is that they're lazy. They're counting on you being busy, distracted, or just trying to survive a Tuesday afternoon. They don't need everyone to fall for it. They just need enough people to think. This seems urgent. Shit, they still coming at me on my fucking TikTok, asking me, I can help you. Bitch, I told them I had no job. She paused for a moment. Then she asked me, here goes another scam you need to look out for. Don't download WhatsApp or Signal for anything unless you have agreed to fucking be on that damn app. Not because someone invited you. It's a scam. WhatsApp, man, be careful. Technology isn't the enemy here. Scammers are. Don't let convenience become complacency. Man, you know how much I've been taught about complacency. Now, this is for the youngins. If you on my page and you are in your 20s, I expect you to stay if you know what's good for you. Gen Z, here's the life advice you need to hear in your 20s that I wish probably somebody had given me. All right, Gen Z, gather around Auntie Kisu for a second. Not too close. No, you're not behind in life. Yes, everyone else is also pretending to know what they're doing. And no, becoming an adult does not come with an instruction manual. If it did, we'd all skip the terms and conditions. A recent article shared advice for people in their 20s. And honestly, some of us in our 30s and 40s and 50s could use the reminder too. First things first, stop treating your 20s like they're supposed to be your final form. Social media has convinced an entire generation that if you're not making 6 figures, married, emotionally healed, shit, they did that before social media, traveling internationally every 3 weeks and running a successful business by 26, I thought it was 24, you've somehow failed at life. Shit, I'm 45 and I feel that way. Baby, some of us were eating ramen and crying in our cars at 26. I hate ramen now unless it's a good flavor. Relax, you're fine. The article reminds young adults that failure isn't a detour, it's a part of the trip. You're supposed to make mistakes. That's literally how experience works. The problem is previous generations got to make their mistakes in private. Yours are happening in 4K with a comment section. Another piece of advice, learn to live beneath your means. I know treat yourself sounds wonderful, but future you would also like to be treated occasionally. Every paycheck cannot be episode of Extreme Makeover, my Amazon cart edition. And please stop comparing your timeline to everyone else's. I have that problem. Comparison is the quickest way to become miserable over blessings you haven't even noticed yet. Somebody is buying a house at 24. I had an ex-girlfriend. She bought one at 22. Somebody else is going back to college at 45. I'm back. I'm sick of it. Somebody is finding love at 60. I ain't 60. Life is not Costco. There's no bulk package timeline that works for everybody. I wish it was. And here's my favorite piece of advice that I wish more people would learn. Protect your peace, but don't weaponize therapy language. Oh, I hate that. Man, let me explain something. If you're into therapy, stay the fuck away from me until you graduate. Shit. Always want to use me for fucking shit. Leave me alone. I'm crazy enough. I don't need you fucking up more because you don't know what you're doing. Anyways, protect your peace. Don't use fucking, we forget that our parents are still paying off houses and barely traveled outside their state or local area only one generation ago. And let me also say, I've been overseas, baby. It's just like here. And I've been overseas on a hustle. If you really want to go work overseas. They love having people teach them our secrets. I didn't, but I'm just saying, they'll ask you. Anyways, moving on. You need to set your boundaries because that sounds wonderful until you realize your boundary is that nobody is allowed to disagree with you ever. That's a boundary you can't do. That's not a boundary, sweetheart. That's dictatorship, okay? You need to learn how to agree to disagree and be cool afterwards. Lastly, invest in your relationships. Your career will not sit beside your hospital bed. Your paycheck will not call to ask if you made it home safely. The people who love you matter. And for my Gen Z babies, let me let you in on a little secret. Nobody becomes an adult overnight. I still got this shit fucked up. We're all just different ages figuring out while pretending our back doesn't randomly hurt after sleeping wrong. Or your neck. Or your goddamn neck. I'm so serious. So, drink water, wear sunscreen, and stop texting your ex. Some advice transcends generations. I'm just letting you know. Please. For your health. Let me see. What's the next story? Okay, we still got one more because everybody heard about that stupid ass speech. I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. I refused, but I heard about it. Yeah, I changed that. And I hate writing on the fucking mouse. I really do. The mouse pad I hate writing. That's why that looks so janky. Idiot's election speech was full of false claims. Here's the fact check. One thing about facts, they're stubborn little things. They're particularly, I hate that fucking word, they don't particularly care about political parties, campaign slogans, or who happens to be standing behind the podium. I still feel like that dude stinks. Orangutan Drumpf delivered a primetime speech on election security this week, in which he repeated several claims about foreign election interference, non-citizen voting, and voter fraud that multiple fact-checking organizations have described as false, misleading, exaggerated, or unsupported by available evidence. And I can promise you, apparently those people trying to fucking get in from other countries, they were trying to help him. Among the biggest claims was that China obtained voter information belonging to approximately 220 million Americans. Shit, they got mine. I voted overseas. And guess what? It didn't stop me. Anyways, let's see. Fraud when multiple, I said that. Mislead, I said that. Among the biggest claims, like I said, election experts noted that much of the voter registration information referenced is publicly available data routinely used by political campaigns and researchers. More importantly, there has been no evidence presented that showing that this information altered vote counts or election outcomes. This is the biggest fucking ugliest baby I've ever seen in my life. Drumpf also, can we abort that one? Trump also revisited claims involving widespread non-citizen voting and alleged voter fraud dating back to 2020 elections. Fact checkers reported that several of the figures cited in the speech lacked important context or were based on speculative or previously disputed data. Another claim suggested that voting machines are easily compromised and vulnerable to... I could have sworn I shut this thing up. Hold on, give me a second, because I heard it again. Somebody said, oh, wait, that was, that sounded like, what you call it? That sounded like, Discord, but still. Did I shut this thing up? Yes, I did. Okay, anyways. Where was it? Okay. Here we go. Another claim suggested that, election security experts have repeatedly stated that while no system is perfect and security improvement should always continue, there has been no evidence presented demonstrating that voting machine changed certified results in the manner describing during the speech. And here's my favorite thing about election conversations in America. Only 2 networks showed this speech. Man, because this was stupid, and I heard Fox cut him off halfway. Anyways, everyone suddenly becomes a constitutional scholar, cybersecurity expert. That's supposed to be my place. Statistician, and election lawyer all before breakfast because of this shit. As someone in cybersecurity, let me tell you something we've learned over and over again. Questioning security is healthy. Making extraordinary claims requires extraordinary evidence. Those 2 things can exist at the same time. You don't strengthen public trust by asking people to stop asking questions. I bet you I don't watch them damn channels. I told you. That's true whether we're talking about elections, banking systems, or whether Aunt Linda really makes the best potato salad at Thanksgiving. Who the hell's having potato salad at Thanksgiving? I ain't never had that at Thanksgiving. Ugh. Facts don't have... I've never had... And I say that because if it was at my house, I didn't eat it because my mom made it, and I just don't like potato salad. I only had it once good in my life. Anyways, facts don't have political parties. Regardless of where you stand politically, election integrity matters. So does factual reporting. The 2 are not mutually exclusive. And perhaps that's the most important takeaway from this entire story. Before sharing a headline, repeating a claim, or arguing with strangers on the internet at 2 o'clock in the morning, mind you, take 10 minutes, read the fact checks. Your blood pressure will thank you. And y'all need to understand when you watch my fucking reels, that's not the whole story. I had some dumbass telling me, get the facts straight. Bitch, I put this shit through 2 different systems to research. Fuck you. All right. Now we're going to move into some more news. It's not really news you need to use, but it's some news that'll help you get your blood pressure down at least till we get to the next portion. Okay, here we go. See, I thought it was up here. I'm still on the beach. Here we go.
What's going on over there?
Carol Amons built a legacy fighting for justice in Illinois. Now she's fighting federal charges. Ah, Lord, I hope she's okay. At least she ain't dead or nothing. Life is complicated. Sometimes the people who spend decades fighting broken systems find themselves standing inside one. For years, Illinois Representative Carol Amons has been one of the most recognizable voices for criminal justice reform and racial equity in Illinois. She helped champion legislation eliminating cash bail in Illinois, supported marijuana legalization, expanded economic protections for working families, and has spent much of her career advocating for marginalized communities. Today, however, she's facing one of the biggest fights of her political career. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted Amons and her husband, Champaign County Clerk Aaron Amons. Oh God, my relatives live there. On multiple felony charges, including allegations of wire fraud, obstruction of justice. Federal prosecutors allege that Carol Amons improperly used campaign funds and leveraged state grant money to financially benefit herself and members of her family. Please don't let this be true, ma'am. Man, damn it, I hate this. Prosecutors also allege that Aaron Amons Man, his nickname, his initials are AA. Participated in efforts to obstruct the federal investigation. The Amenses, they really put an ES on that, have denied all wrongdoing and say they intend to vigorously defend themselves in court. Carol Emmons has stated that she remains confident that facts will ultimately demonstrate her innocence. Hello. Her innocence. Aaron Emmons has likewise pledged to continue serving the public while the case proceeds the judicial system. And this is where I want us to live, in the uncomfortable middle for just a moment. We have gotten entirely too comfortable believing people must either be heroes or villains. Real life rarely works that way. It is possible for someone to spend decades doing meaningful work and still deserve accountability if they break the law. It's also possible for someone to be innocent despite serious allegations. Those two things can coexist at the same time. Just push this on my channel. Oh, thank you so much. My real concern is that the first story, the one on lawn at the Blissfest. Yeah, I definitely will send you a clip of that. Thank you so much for coming as well. The presumption of innocence isn't reserved for people we like. Accountability isn't reserved for people we don't. One of the things I love about this breathable news is that it allows us to sit with complexity for a minute. Not every story needs us to immediately pick a team. Carol Emmons' legacy cannot be erased by an indictment. Likewise, an impressive legacy doesn't exempt anyone from scrutiny. The courts will decide whether these allegations are true. History will decide what this chapter ultimately means. Until then, we can do something revolutionary in 2026. Wait for evidence. I know it's controversial these days, ain't it? God dang bastards. But you know, sometimes wisdom sounds an awful lot like saying, I don't know yet. Waiting for facts is not a weakness. It's maturity. Jesus. Moving on. We got another breathable one before we get to people terrorizing black folks. It's a real thing. Westmore explains why he won't soften the message on issues Black Americans face. Okay. You ever notice how we're perfectly comfortable talking about problems until somebody says the word race? Then suddenly everyone develops an allergy to uncomfortable conversations. I told you, the truth is never meant to be comfortable. Westmore says he's not interested in softening his message when it comes to discussing the issues facing Black Americans. During an interview with the Griot, see, that's a news outlet, don't come for me, Moore argued that conversations about racial inequities should be rooted in facts and that leaders shouldn't avoid difficult topics simply because they make them feel uncomfortable. Moore pointed to disparities in areas like education, home ownership. That's about everybody now. Good to see you. Oh, you talking to somebody else. But anyways, that's not my business. Examples of issues that deserve healthcare and economic opportunity as examples of issues that deserve honest discussion. He emphasized that acknowledging disparities isn't about division. It isn't about addressing measurable realities and finding solutions that benefits the community. Now, after the internet does what the internet does, let's pause for 1 second. Talking about race is not the same thing as assigning blame to every person who happens to exist. Likewise, pretending disparities don't exist because they're politically inconvenient doesn't magically make them disappear either. One thing I appreciate about this conversation is that Moore wasn't arguing for less dialogue. He was arguing for more honesty. Whether you agree with him politically or not, I do. Difficult conversations don't become easier because we avoid having them. Ask anyone who's ever ignored a weird noise coming from their car, hoping it simply would become somebody else's problem. It doesn't. Man, that thing will bother you and it'll fuck you up. And here's my cynical observation for tonight. America has become remarkably talented at talking around problems. We'll spend 3 hours debating whether we should discuss an issue instead of spending 30 minutes discussing the damn issue. It's almost impressive. Moore also pushed back against the idea that addressing Black issues somehow excludes everyone else. His position is that leaders should be able to speak plainly about specific challenges facing specific communities while still working toward broader solutions that benefit the country as a whole. Whether you're talking about healthcare, education, economics, or voting rights, facts don't become less factual simply because they're politically inconvenient. And perhaps that's the breathable news tonight. Mature conversations require enough confidence to hear uncomfortable things without immediately assuming they're personal attacks. All right, we got a whole bunch of goddamn stories. I got to get this shit through. All right, that is it for that story. Now we are moving into a topic I call, and I got my little belly dance swimsuit on. People terrorizing Black folks. I said it, so let's get it. Have you ever noticed whenever someone says they're going to cut regulations, they never tell you what you're supposed to do with the thing that regulation was regulating? Because fewer regulations sounds wonderful until you realize we're talking about the air in your lungs. So the EPA is doing a rollback that could bring dirtier air to Black communities. Seriously, environmental advocates are warning. My microphone dropped. Are warning that proposed rollbacks at the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) could disproportionately affect Black communities that are already more likely to live near highways, industrial facilities, and other major sources of pollution. I've seen it. I've lived it. Critics argue the changes could weaken protections that have historically helped reduce harmful emissions and improve air quality. My mother has CPO. Okay, COPD. Damn it. I don't know why I tried to say that shit. Anyways, research has consistently shown that Black Americans are more likely to be exposed to unhealthy levels of air pollution, regardless of income level. That exposure has been linked to higher rates of asthma. My mama got it. Cardiovascular disease. I got a murmur. Illnesses and other health concerns. In other words, you can quite literally affect how well where you live can quite. Let me see here. I like the artwork. That might be the right word. Probably so. Oh, you was talking about that other one? Yeah. Anyways, where was I? Okay, yeah, here we go. So, in other words, where you live can quite literally affect how well you breathe. Environmental justice advocates point out that this isn't a new conversation. For decades, communities of color have been more likely to find themselves living near landfills, factories, major roadways, and industrial sites. Environmental policy may not sound exciting until you realize it's determining whether your children can safely play outside without triggering an asthma attack. Then it gets real exciting real fast. Supporters of regulatory changes have often argued that reducing environmental regulations lowers costs, promotes economic growth, and reduces unnecessary burdens on businesses. Opponents argue that weakening environmental protections frequently shifts those costs onto communities in the form of poor health outcomes and increased medical expenses. And here's my cynical thing. Here's where I think this is stupid. It's fascinating how pollution is apparently very good at finding poor neighborhoods and communities of color, almost like it doesn't accidentally happen over and over and over again. Imagine that. Clear air shouldn't be a luxury item. It shouldn't depend on your zip code, your bank account, or whether developers thought your neighborhood was politically inconvenient 40 years ago. The air doesn't ask who you voted for before you breathe it. This is one of those stories that won't trend on social media tomorrow. There won't be a dramatic surveillance footage or a celebrity commentary. But if we're talking about things that affect people's lives every single day, being able to breathe belongs pretty high on that list. Because I've always found it strange that breathing clean air somehow became a controversial position, for real. And that is it for people terrorizing Black people. We're about to get into one of my homegirls' favorites, playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes. I was told that a lot growing up. It's for real. Hold on.
I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, way I'm a red. I've been moving like a hot.
Medgar Evers' historic speech is still missing 6 decades later. Who the fuck stole it? Whoever the fuck stole it, just give it back. Shit, why you got it? Probably destroyed it, you dirty bastard. I want you to imagine this for a moment. It's 1963. Mississippi is segregated. It still is. Death rate threats against black civil rights leaders are commonplace, and a black man goes on television and tells the truth anyways. Now imagine that speech disappearing for more than 60 years. Civil rights icon Medgar Evers made history on May 20th, 1963, when he became the first black Mississippian to deliver a televised speech on a local Mississippi television station. Today, historians are still searching for that historic recording because no one knows where it is or whether it even still exists. At the time, Evers was serving as the NAACP's first Mississippi field secretary. During his 17-minute address, he called for equal treatment of Black Americans and urged a boycott of Jackson businesses that practice racial segregation. He wasn't simply making a speech. He was challenging an entire system. And here's where this story gets more interesting. The television station, WLBT, wasn't exactly friendly territory. The NBC affiliates regularly hired programming from segregationists organizations and refused to show black people on television, on network television. In fact, Medgar Evers only received airtime because the Federal Communications Commission ordered the station to provide equal time to civil rights advocates. Following the broadcast, death threats flooded the station. Less than 1 month later, Medgar Evers was assassinated in his driveway by a white supremacist. He was only 37 years old. Researchers now believe the speech was pre-recorded at an unknown location before airing that evening. Yet when WLBT donated decades of archival footage to Mississippi State Archives during the 1980s, my years, the recording was nowhere to be found. Historian Dr. Caroline Bain has researched local and national archives, including FCC records, but the historic footage remains missing. And here's what I think. Isn't it fascinating how history has a habit of disappearing whenever marginalized people tell uncomfortable truths? This was actually supposed to be a part of people being terrorized. Anyways, books disappear, photographs disappear, recordings disappear, then somehow we're surprised when future generations ask why they weren't taught these stories in school. Imagine that. The beautiful thing about this story, however, is that they may have lost the tape, but they didn't lose the truth. You can hide a recording. You cannot erase a legacy. Medgar Evers' voice helped change America, where we can press play on it or not, whether. Perhaps that's the lesson here. Terror isn't always someone standing in front of you with a weapon. Sometimes it's attempting to erase the evidence that you were ever here in the first place. So they may have misplaced the tape, but they couldn't bury the message. Moving on. Now, these are the real stories. These are the ones that's going to make you smile. God dang it. I've just put that in the wrong. Here we go. Once again, I had to erase it and write it with the mouse of the mouse pad of my laptop. Yeah, it was hard. Pervert finally pays E. Jean Carroll $5.6 million after SA verdict. My damn time, cheapskate. Fuck. How you gonna have all that money and be that damn cheap and not have her money? There's an old saying that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. There should probably also be a legal edition that says if 12 people, multiple judges, and several appeals court tells you no, eventually your checkbook gets involved. 3 years after a jury found orangutan Drumpf liable, he's not my president, for essaying and defaming writer E. Jean Carroll. What the hell did she write? I want to know now. She has finally received more than $5.6 million after his final attempt to block payment failed. The payment includes the original $5 million judgment plus accrued interest. For those that keeping score at home, this case began after Carol accused Drumpf of essaying her in a New York department store dressing room in the mid 1990s. In 2023, federal jury found him liable for essay and defamation, while the jury did not find him liable for rape. You got to be kidding me. Under New York's narrow legal definition that existed at that time, Judge Lewis Kaplan later stated that Carol's account was substantially true under common understanding of the word grape. Drumpf appealed, he lost. He appealed again, he lost. He asked the Supreme Court to hear the case. They declined. He attempted to delay payment one last time. He lost that too. At this point, the appeals process was beginning to resemble a subscription service nobody asked for. The money had been sitting in a court-controlled account, thank God, otherwise he'd have hit it, while appeals worked their way through the legal system. According to Supreme Court's refusal to hear the case, a federal judge ordered the funds released to Carol and her attorneys. Damn, I know they earned their money. Now, before the comment section catches on fire, let's remember two things can be true at once. People are free to disagree politically. They are not free to invent their own court ruling. Facts remain facts, regardless of who they make uncomfortable. She's a columnist. Oh, cool. And I thought she wrote a book. And here's my cynical thought. America has become fascinatingly selective about believing the judicial system. We love judges when they agree with us and suddenly become constitutional scholars when they don't. Funny how that works. One final note. This story isn't actually about politics. It's about accountability. Accountability isn't partisan. If we're going to cheer when the justice system works in cases we like, we have to be mature enough to accept its outcome in cases we don't. Because I'm still pissed off about the Rick Child verdict. And one thing about consequences, they're remarkably patient. Sometimes they take years to arrive, but they usually know the address very well. I'm going to tell you right now, they always know my damn address, my phone number, everything, and they come quick. Man, I think they be in the car on stall. She may have, not sure about that part. Okay. I'm not sure for sure. I didn't even know her name until 2023. But anyways, losing one appeal happens. Losing all of them starts becoming a personality trait. He's a loser. That's all I'm saying. Moving on, because this one really made me smile. It's been on the news all goddamn day, and I'm happy for it. And I hope that ugly ass orangutan can't do shit about it. Tristan and Andrew Tate are arrested in Miami wearing flood pants as UK prosecutors expand rape and trafficking charges. Man, dude is wearing what look like old school Versace shirt, a silk one, and some damn, they ain't even capris. Those are high waters, okay? High water pants with no socks on in them damn loafers. I'm pretty sure his feet are funky. Man, you give me a break. I don't understand what's up with these men wearing tight ass pants either. Y'all ain't gonna be able to service nobody. Anyways, there are consequences sometimes. They arrive immediately. Sometimes they need a passport and an extradition request and several years of legal proceedings before they finally show up at your door. Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested Saturday in Miami by U.S. Marshals after British prosecutors announced dozens of additional charges and requested their extradition to the UK. The new charges include rape, trafficking for sexual exploitation, SA, assault causing bodily harm. I mean, any assault would probably cause bodily harm, huh? And offenses relating to indecent images of a child and extreme, British prosecutors say the additional charges involve 4 new alleged victims, bringing the total number of alleged victims in the UK case to 7. For those keeping score at home, this isn't the beginning of the Tate brothers' legal troubles. They faced investigation and legal proceedings in multiple countries for years, including Romania, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The brothers have repeatedly denied all allegations against themselves. Andrew Tate now faces 7 additional counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating for exploitation, 3 assault charges, and 19 additional charges related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Man, leave the babies alone, you pervert. Tristan Tate faces 2 counts of rape, 1 count of SA, and 3 trafficking-related charges. I heard him talking about taking a poor 17-year-old's V card. That was disgusting. Now, here's where we really get into it. For years, Andrew Tate has built an empire telling young men what strength looks like. He looks poor as fuck to me. It's the damn flood pants for me. Millions of followers have listened to him talk about masculinity, power, success, and accountability. It's fascinating how accountability always sounds amazing when we're talking about someone else. And let's say something that becomes surprisingly controversial in 2026. Being charged with a crime is not the same thing as being convicted of one. The Tate brothers are presumed innocent unless and until prosecutors prove otherwise. I hope they prove otherwise. The principle applies to everyone, period. But being presumed innocent also doesn't mean being presumed untouchable. Serious allegations deserve serious investigations. Those two ideas are not enemies. The brothers are expected to challenge their extradition to the UK as the legal process moves forward. If extradited, they will face trial on the charges brought by British prosecutors. And perhaps my favorite life lesson tonight in this is, if your Wikipedia page needs its own subsection titled Legal Affairs, it might be time to do some self-reflection, please. Accountability has an excellent frequent flyer program. It eventually finds you wherever you land. Man, why the fuck they keep coming to my country? I feel dirty just having them in the U.S. Get your ignorant asses out. And what kind of accent is that they have? It's weird as fuck. Anyways, the shade. CNBC just named America's 10 worst states to live in. Social media is having a field day because they're all Republican. Apparently, the internet woke up this week and collectively decided, you know what? Let's fight 50 states at once. A rank of the 10 worst states to live in recently went viral on social media. And as you might imagine, absolutely no one took it personally. I'm kidding. Everybody took it personally. There are currently people defending their states like they personally poured concrete for the interstate system. According to the ranking from CNBC's annual top 10 states for business report, many of these states landing near the bottom share similar challenges, including healthcare access, work protection, education rankings, and quality of life concerns. A significant number also happen to lean politically conservative, which immediately launched social media into its favorite Olympic sport, arguing with strangers. The 10 states worst to live in are Alaska. My cousin was there. Louisiana. I was there. Oklahoma. I know someone, and I think a lot of stupid people are not there. I dated someone from there. Arkansas. I think the stupidest people are there. Not all of them, but some of them. Alabama. Never been there. Mississippi. Families from there. Missouri. Never been there. Texas. Went to school there. South Carolina. Never been there. Tennessee. Went through there. Now, before somebody starts throwing sweet tea and barbecue sauce at their television, let's remember the rankings are based on selected criteria. They're not commandments carved into stone tablets somewhere. Your favorite state can still be your favorite state. Calm the hell down. The social media reactions, however, have been absolutely undefeated. Residents immediately began defending their states with the same energy usually reserved for college football rivalries and Thanksgiving dinner arguments. And I'm telling you, the South and football, woo! And here we go. Americans are fascinating people. We can complain about our state every single day of the year. Actually, I don't give a shit anymore. But let an outsider complain about it. I honestly don't care anymore. Suddenly, we're William Wallace and Braveheart fighting for our homeland. No, I'm not. Nobody. Texans on Tuesday. Our power grid occasionally takes naps, but we have great brisket. Motherfucker, get your state right. Nobody. Mississippi residents. We're allowed to talk to about Mississippi. You are not. It's honestly beautifully honest. I talk about Mississippi all the fucking time. Come at me. And perhaps that's the lesson here. No place is perfect. Every state has problems worth fixing. I can't stand this country, honestly. Not in the last fucking 10 years. and things worth celebrating. I mean, really? Also, if your state's official defense begins with the phrase, well, it's not that bad, we might need to have a longer conversation. I'm not having it. Someone else can. I got other things to do. So Americans will absolutely drag where they live Monday through Saturday and become Captain America the moment someone else joins the conversation. That's just patriotism with extra steps. Y'all kiss my ass, god dang it. I hope you get all of it. And that is it for playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes. Now what I want y'all to know is this. I honestly don't give a shit. I really don't. We got some more stories, but that's the main story. So if you ain't for the mains, no, they don't. Texas barbecues suck. Hey, I didn't write this script. I told you. I left that to Nova. Nova wrote the script. I'm just reading the shit. I've been to Texas. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but we're going to get into some historical stuff. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and shout out this company. It's Black owned. It is woman owned. And if you like CBD and your lips popping, you might want to check out her company. I'm not charging her. I do this for free. So if you have a commercial, I'll put it up here. I don't mind. I'm just trying to help the community. So check out this, and then I'm going to do my commercial. And when we come back, we're going to be on part 15 of the conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. Please stay, won't you? You know, you ain't nothing but a troublemaker, you. Anyways, where's my goddamn commercial? My moderator harasses me. How does that work? Here we go. OBS acting a fool. Yeah, I be dancing in these. Once again, and I took my braids out yesterday. So if you like CBD and you like your lips popping, check out CBD Honey Lips. You can find her on Threads, Twitch, and Instagram. Moving on, here go my commercial. If you like what I'm doing, or if you don't like what I'm doing, and you got some comments. That's all, because I got time. I ain't got a job. I'm old and petty. I will take your name off and then drag your ass. Only you will know you're being dragged. So with that being said, please like, subscribe. Where's my little fox, my kitsune? Please subscribe and, share my stuff out, because I'm trying to make this a community, for real. Anyways, here go my commercial. I'll be right back with part 15 of the conversation. It's only 2 minutes long. Join me, will you? Where the hell's my commercial? Oh, there it is. Bitch.
It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam.
What the hell?
It's just me and the fam.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just me. See my little Tate, that's my mascot. No.
Let's try that again. I fucking hate OBS.
It's just me and the fam. 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 Yeah. It's just me and the fam. See my little Tate, that's my hype girl, that's my mascot. No one's go for hours and some hours till we pass out. Stay inside the house, turned up with them racks out. Stay inside the house, turn.
Well, so everybody's jiving, but let's jive on that level.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me, and you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. But Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
All right, I accept that.
Of course you'll lie to me. Because I don't even want to care. What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat
You
him.
must.
Treat him.
You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell because I love you. I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man? For 10 years, so that we can get a child on his feet that says, yeah, father smiled at mother. He talked to me about school today. Who cares that you can read or can't read? Most Americans can't read. Most people can't read. They look at the pictures.
Baby, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But no, I'm gonna be honest and think about it really. I'm not so sure that is a human possibility. If I have to smile all day, and the cat on the job, the foreman, you don't understand why I'm smiling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna want to smile. Smiling with it. Baby needs new shoes. I can't give a performance all day on the job and come home and give a performance on all hours.
One of the performances will stop.
Yes. So you say, and okay, I might be willing to go with it, but who's going to pay the rent?
The rent will get paid.
Look, baby, I'm willing to play it your way, but you have to see my point of view.
I see your point of view. But the rent will have to get paid.
The price of the rent is my smile.
No. I don't want you prostituting yourself. I demand.
I don't want you prostituting yourself either. One of us has got to work.
You will work it out because you are intelligent enough and you are sensitive enough. You are a man enough to work out a new system. Because we started off with everybody's protest now and we're back there again. As long as the assumptions are the same, nothing will change.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we must corner ourselves to make a new assumption.
Okay, I buy it.
In case it was sort of like left up in the air or somebody, like I didn't get it across. I really think that my father, Jones Giovanni, is a groovy cat, and he's lived with my mother now for 35 years under holy wedlock. And I think that that's good for them. I think that sort of thing worked for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the main thing that they were able to love despite it all.
That's what we were talking about before.
Right, exactly.
And you, by the way, you do not have to tell me that you're your father. I knew that.
Yeah, I think he's a gad.
Yes,
I just don't want to marry him. But I think let's talk about writing for a moment, because it seems that most black writers at certain points always come back to explaining who they are. They always come back to a personal essay. You've written several novels. One that I happen to love a lot is Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone.
I'm glad you like that.
I'm particularly, I just felt mad in love. I gave copies to my friends. I was glad when it finally came out in paperback that I could afford to do what I was doing. But it seems that even though we deal in the novel, and we deal in fiction, or we deal in poetry, say, we always have to come back to say, who are we?
Well, I don't know. Well, like, for example, in Train, one of the things I discovered in writing it, like I haven't done it, when I began it, that to answer your question or to deal with the question, because it's an enormous question for me. There's a moment in the bar in New York State when Leo was watching Jerry, Italian. He was watching him with an older Italian who's just come to America. And Leo thinks to himself that Salvatore understood Jerry because he existed in effect already inside.
I know that was a fucked up place to cut, but I forgot. They're 5 minutes each. So if you want to see part 16, hit me up this next Sunday coming up. Now I'm going to go ahead. We got one more story on Black history. And then after that, we're moving on to culture, and we're almost done for the night. All right. So hold on. Give me a second here. Where the hell is it? Because we're also saying a happy birthday. You know what? Forget it. I'm going to play the happy birthday one because somebody's birthday just happened.
Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. One time for the birthday chick. I'ma mess around, buy you a birthday whip. 2 times for the birthday chick. I'ma mess around, buy you some birthday gifts. It's your
Happy birthday to Assata Shakur. 79 years later, her legacy still calls us to carry it on. So tonight's historical moment is about something more powerful. Oh, that's beautiful right there. Let me put that up there. Is more powerful than history. It's about who gets to preserve it. A new digital archive dedicated to Assata Shakur has been launched to preserve her writings, speeches, photographs, and historical contributions for future generations. The project seeks to ensure that regardless of where people stand politically, one of the most influential and controversial figures of the 20th century remains available for historical study and understanding. Born she had my grandma name. Born Joanne Deborah Byron in 1947, she's older than my mom. Assata Shakur became involved in the Black Liberation movement during the late 1960s and early 1970s. She was a member of both the Black Panther Party and later the Black Liberation Army, organizations that emerged during one of America's most turbulent periods of racial and political unrest. I need to go check on that army. If I can come a part of it, I'm going to join. Now, because we're about facts on this show, and some people don't believe me, we can hold multiple truths at the same time. To many supporters, Assata is a revolutionary political activist and a symbol of Black liberation, I feel so, whose writings continue to inspire social justice movements today. To others, she remains a convicted murderer who escaped prison and spent decades living in Cuba after receiving political asylum. Both perspectives exist, and understanding history requires us to acknowledge all of it. In 1977, Shakur was convicted in the connection with the death of a New Jersey state trooper, Warner Forrester, following a 1973 shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike. That was near my mama. She has always maintained her innocence, arguing that she was targeted because of her political activism. In 1979, she escaped from prison and eventually received political asylum in Cuba, where she remained for decades. Her 1988 autobiography has become required reading in many Black study courses. I need to get that book across the country, and has influenced generations of activists and scholars interested in race, criminal justice, and liberation movements. So, what I got to say about this? History becomes incredibly inconvenient whenever it refuses to fit neatly into our favorite narratives. We love our historical figures, simple, hero or villain. Shit, Washington is petty as fuck. Good or evil. History, and I'm talking about the first president. History has absolutely no interest in making things that easy for us. The purpose of archives isn't agreement, it's preservation. Because whether we're talking about Assata Shakur, Medgar Evers, the Honorable Malcolm X, or Ida B. Wells with her smart self, future generations deserve the opportunity to read, question, learn, and think critically of themselves. We don't preserve history because it's comfortable. We preserve it because forgetting it is far more dangerous. I'm not repeating this shit, and my kids ain't picking cotton. Fuck you. History rarely comes in black and white. It usually is written in uncomfortable shades of gray. And I'll let you sit with that one. That's it for our historical stuff. We're going to go ahead and move into what? Our culture or our business? Because I try to get y'all fiscally ready too. Let me see here now. We are going to be looking. Oh, we're doing culture. We got about 2 culture stories, and then we're going into business. I told you this night is almost over. Where is my culture one? I did all of these transitions. I use this thing called Volt. Yeah, I use that. And then I use some of my videos and some of the shit I created. Okay, here we go. Where the hell is it? I forgot what I was looking for. Culture moment. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, this one hits me home. I am half Cape Verdean. My hair does not do like a 4C, but for me, I was raised by a woman who had 4C, and she did not she dragged the shit out of my hair, okay? Anyways, an influencer criticized her own natural hair and sparked a debate on black self-hate. I'm gonna finish this and then get to this. I was so insecure because my mother called me buckwheat and nappy and all that shit that is a metaphorical funeral. Anyways, and I put so much there straight. 3C, a 4A, but regardless, I'm proud of what's on my fucking head. Sometimes I'm lazy, but I'm proud of it, and no child should feel like they shouldn't be proud of what's on their head. There are few things more guaranteed to start a family reunion level argument on the internet than politics, potato salad, I hate it, and black women's hair. This week, a social media influencer sparked a heated debate after criticizing her own natural hair online, calling it difficult to manage and expressing frustration over the time and effort required to maintain. What the hell is wrong with you, you crazy cat? Anyways, that's probably one of the misses, Miss Hattie and Miss Mavis. They're two old biddies. Anyways, what followed wasn't simply disagreement. It became a much larger conversation about beauty standards, self-acceptance, and whether black women are allowed to publicly dislike aspects of their appearance without it becoming a cultural referendum. So, some people argue that criticizing natural hair reinforces harmful stereotypes that black women have spent generations fighting against. Others defended the influencer's right to honestly discuss her personal experiences without being accused of self-hatred or internalized racism. In other words, Black Twitter did what Black Twitter has been doing since the beginning of time. It had 17 conversations simultaneously, and nobody agreed on any of that shit. And can we be honest for a second? Natural hair can be beautiful and require a lot of work. My hair requires a lot of work. Matter of fact, tonight I'm about to dedicate at least an hour just to washing, conditioning, and combing this shit out because it's been in braids and I've been shedding. Okay, matter of fact, I could do you one better. One day maybe I'll start a show on Q&A about black hair. Shit, let me not comb my hair for a while. It'll look almost like this. And it'll be probably just as much of a stress to get it to act right. I'm just saying. We have a lot of different kind of hairs. Shit. But anyways, those two statements I just said aren't enemies. Anybody who spent 6 hours twisting their hair only to have humidity laugh in your face before they made it to the car understands exactly what I'm talking about. It took me 2 hours to straighten my hair, 5 minutes to puff up. Ladies, we've all had hairstyles that look absolutely incredible for approximately 45 minutes before nature reminded us who was actually in charge. Here's where I think this conversation gets interesting. Black women are often expected to simultaneously love every aspect of ourselves. I've been told I have to say something positive to my shrink, while also carrying the responsibility of representing our entire community whenever we speak publicly. That's a lot of pressure placed on somebody discussing what happened during a wash day. Sometimes people aren't making political statements. Sometimes they're tired. Girl, man, you will see me in a wig or a ponytail any chance I get, unless my hair is being nice with me. And here's what I really want y'all to know. I don't know any group of women expected to write a doctoral dissertation every time they say, girl, my hair is getting on my nerves. Imagine saying I hate putting together IKEA furniture. I actually do. And somebody saying, so you hate Sweden? That's what some of these conversations feel like. Natural hair isn't a monolith. Neither are black women. Some people love wash day. Some people would rather wrestle an alligator than spend 6 hours detangling their hair. Both people get to exist at the same time. Now, if somebody could get one of these cats to slow down so I can see if I can cornrow their fur, then we can talk. The beautiful thing about blackness has always been that there's some room for all of us. There is some room for all of us, curls and complaints included. Some of us ain't even got curls. So humidity has remained undefeated since the beginning of time, and she's never once apologized for it. I'm gonna punch that bitch in the face if I ever meet her. For real. She get on my last damn nerves. That bitch right there. Moving on. More culture. You know who the hell that camel looking dude is. I swear to God, I think he looks like Joe Cool. You can kiss my ass. I have never been a fan of Jay-Z. I'm a Nas fan. We expect more from Jay-Z, right? Why not BET? I have been expecting more from them for the longest. And once they started taking out all the useful shows like Teen Summit and shit and taking out the music, I just gave up. All that damn, College Hill shit? I didn't want to see that. Can we have an uncomfortable conversation for a minute? Because apparently we're really good at demanding excellence from Black people while giving Black institutions a participation trophy. A recent opinion piece asked a fascinating question. Why do so many people expect Jay-Z to save the Black culture? I don't. Black businesses, I don't. And Black institutions, I don't. While expecting so little from the institutions themselves. I was waiting on Timbaland, me personally. The article specifically points to criticism Jay-Z received surrounding his partnership with BET, I just found that out, and larger conversations about Black ownership, accountability, and investment in our own communities. If you are investing in your community, I ain't got shit to say. That's all I got to say. The argument isn't that Jay-Z shouldn't be criticized. It's asking why Black celebrities are so often expected to become one-person solutions to systemic problems. Exactly. Why isn't BET responsible for saving BET? And I have to admit, this question made me laugh because Black people are remarkably talented at volunteering other people's money and emotional labor. Jay-Z's rich. Great. He should save this company. Oprah's rich. Wonderful. She should buy the network. LeBron has money? Perfect. He should fix education. Tyler Perry has a studio. Excellent. We're 17. Here's 17 more problems we'd like him to solve by Tuesday. Chop, chop. At some point, we're going to have a conversation about collective responsibility. We have a bad habit of treating successful Black people like they're members of the Avengers. Every time something goes wrong, we immediately begin looking through our contact list of wealthy Black celebrities asking, which one of y'all fixing this? Look, I'm related to Jody Watley. She ain't gave me $1 yet. And I'm related to some football player in Chicago. He ain't never said happy birthday. So what's that got to do with me? Anyways, these people are people, not DLC for social justice. But I will say this. I feel like if your community pushed you to the position you are, you should at least give back to that community. You ain't got to take care of everybody else, but at least take care of home. That's all I got to say about that. Now, does wealth come with responsibility? Absolutely. Look at the idiots in the White House. Does influence matter? Oh, God, yes, of course it does. But responsibility doesn't magically disappear simply because someone's wealthier walked into the room. You broke the vase. You got to pay it back, not your rich cousin. And I think that's what I appreciate most about this article. It forces us to ask whether our expectations are equitable. Why do we expect excellence, accountability, and sacrifice from individuals while lowering the bar for the organizations we're discussing? I ain't watched BET in so many years, for real. That's not a Jay-Z question. That's a us question. Supporting Black institutions means expecting them. Oh, by the way, Miele, M-I-E-L-L-E, it's white owned. It is not Black owned. Just letting you know. I just found that shit out. Anyways, supporting Black institutions means expecting them to innovate, adapt, and succeed on their own merits while holding everyone involved accountable, from CEOs to the consumers. You ain't seen me in a damn Target. Because if we expect Black excellence, perhaps we should stop limiting that expectations to famous people. My whole thing, I told you, if your ass came from this spot and they pushed you into that and they invested in you, can you reinvest in them? Shit. Black celebrities are many things. They're not our emergency contact for every societal problem. Real talk, I don't want them in our fucking issues because they fuck up shit. Look what the hell happened when you vote for a celebrity. Now we in a fucked up situation. I don't trust them motherfuckers being leaders at all. Not like the old school. If it was a Harry Belafonte or Sidney Poitier, Aretha Franklin, then yeah, Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay if you're an asshole. I'm just saying. But that's all I gotta say. I'm getting off my damn Oh wait, I got one more. This is a movie I've seen, but I haven't heard about it. So one more culture, then we're going to business. I'm so sorry. There was too much shit. Life was life, and there was a lot of information I needed to get out to the community. The Children of Blood and Bone cast has been revealed, and it's full of black star power. Yes, that's Regina right there. Yes, that's Olivia right there. Viola right there. I don't know why I want to call her Olivia. And yes, that's somebody's son right there. I forgot who. I think it's Denzel. I'm not sure. Anyways, can I just say something? Black fantasy fans have been waiting for this adaptation longer than y'all been waiting for your student loans to disappear. That's a long ass time. The highly anticipated film adapted of Children of Blood and Bone based on Tomi Adeyemi's, I hope I said that right, best-selling novel has finally revealed its star-studded cast, and Hollywood apparently decided, you know what? Let's collect everybody. The cast includes some of the biggest names in entertainment across multiple generations. This name I definitely can't say. The film stars Thuso, there's an M and a B next to each other. What sound does that make? Mdu as Zeli Adebola. Please forgive me if I fuck up. Alongside Amandla Steinberg as Princess Amari, Damson Idris as Prince Inan. They're joined by an absolutely ridiculous supporting cast that includes Viola Davis, Idris Elba, the bitch with no eyebrows, Cynthia Erivo. I have not forgiven her for what she said about us black folks in America. Regina King. Here's a name I can't say. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Lashana Lynch, and Tossin Cole. If they announce 3 more Oscar winners, I wouldn't even blink at this moment. Okay? For anyone unfamiliar with the story, Children of Blood and Bone, which I am, follows Zeli as she fights to restore magic. Ooh, it's sci-fi to the kingdom of Orisha after it was violently taken from its people. The novel became a publishing phenomenon in 2018, praised for its West African-inspired world-building, complex themes of oppression and resistance, and unapologetically black fantasy storytelling. And for real, black audiences have been saying this for years, that we'll support fantasy stories that look like us. We have been screaming for it from the rooftops. We don't just want dragons and elves. Give us magic. Give us mythology. I love mythology. Kingdoms and heroes that reflect, and don't breathe hard on the back of my neck when you're watching the movie, like, because that's too nerd. Anyways, let's reflect and heroes that reflect the breadth of our experiences too. Turns out we aren't asking for anything unreasonable after all. Also, can we appreciate how far we've come? There was a time when people claimed black-led fantasy projects weren't commercially viable. Now studios are out here assembling casts that look like someone accidentally invited Hollywood's Black Excellence group chat to the same movie. Imagine that. It's a true nerd. That's what I'm saying. I still go to cons, and me and my co-host for Fridays, we thinking about going to DreamCon next year. We saving our money up. Anyways, and perhaps that's why this adaptation matters so much. It's bigger than one movie. Somewhere there's a little black girl reading a fantasy novel and realizing she gets to be the chosen one too. I also want to point out that Magic took me hostage and made me watch at least 2 of those damn Twilight movies. I was against my will. I ran out of that house so quick, I didn't see her for about 2 weeks. Anyways, representation isn't about checking boxes. It's about expanding possibilities. And finally, Hollywood. If this movie is good, we're going to celebrate you. If it's bad, however, understand Black Twitter has been training for this moment since approximately 2009. No pressure. Black fantasy fans have waited patiently. People don't make us organize another group called Hollywood Could Have Done Better, because they will make that shit, and I'm going to join just for it. Because just like I joined those I'm White and Proud groups, I've joined them. I'm in that bitch. And when I get in that bitch, I send a link to the others. I done invited so many people into that shit. Anyways, that's it for that. Now we are going to talk about what are we going to talk about? Hold on, let me see what that next story is. It's time for financial talk. So if you're not interested in financials, like I said, I'm almost done, but man, the goddamn people, the headlines were too much. Too many people dying, too many people I had to update about, too many. So usually we're done by now, but let me get these few stories out. I'll get them out quick and I'll have you out of here before 9. Here we go. Financial news. We're almost done. Shit, I'll have you out of here probably before 8:45. Give me a second. Where is it? Financial. There it is. I lost it again. Shit. There goes fashion. Where is it? I know I did financial. Oh, I called it business. I forgot. Property is... Motherfucker, you tricked me. Property is power. Why the dream Booker T. Washington preached in 1905 still matters today. I have a question for everybody watching tonight. What's the difference between paying someone else's mortgage for 30 years and paying your own? About $400,000 and a whole lot of generational wealth. In 1905, Booker T. Washington stood before an audience and declared that property is power. More than 120 years later, that message may be more relevant than ever. Today, Black Americans continue to lag behind other groups in home ownership rates, making the conversation about property ownership not simply a financial one, but a historical one as well. According to the recent data, Black ownership rates remain significantly lower than white home ownership rates, despite decades of progress. Housing advocates point to numerous contributing factors, including the racial wealth gap, discriminatory housing practices throughout American history, rising home prices, that's everybody's issue, student loan debt, that's everybody's issue, and access to affordable financing. Now, let's be clear about something. This isn't me saying everyone needs to run out and buy a house tomorrow. Some of us are trying to buy eggs without taking out a small business loan right now. Life happens. The larger conversation is about ownership. Booker T. Washington understood something in 1905 that remains true in 2026. Ownership creates options. Property creates leverage. Wealth isn't simply about what you earn. It's about what you keep and what you're able to pass on. And here's my thoughts on this. We have somehow become a society that's incredibly comfortable talking about getting the bag while becoming remarkably uncomfortable discussing what happens after you get it. I already got plans. We'll spend 6 hours debating celebrity net worth and 6 minutes discussing retirement accounts. Forget you. I'm going for a 401. We'll argue about luxury handbags while ignoring wills, trust, and investment portfolios. Shit, my homeboy gave me one of his grandmother's, God rest her soul, old designer bags. I'm cool. We'll say generational wealth 17 times in one conversation and somehow never mention life insurance. I'm getting mine back. Now imagine that. And before somebody says, well, I can't afford a house, that's okay too. Financial literacy isn't home ownership or bust. Sometimes it's improving your credit score, which I'm doing. Sometimes it's finally opening that retirement account. Sometimes it's learning that the difference between an asset and a liability. Talk about an IRA. I got one. Before Instagram convinces you that they're the same thing. Assets and liabilities are not the same thing. One is a gain, one is a fucking loss, okay? Before Booker T. Washington wasn't simply talking about land in 1905. He was talking about empowerment. Property is power because ownership changes conversations. It changes opportunities, and sometimes it changes entire family trees. So generational wealth is a wonderful hashtag. It's an even better financial strategy. Just letting you know, god dang it. And that's it for financial news. I told you, we moving. The next one is good news. We got some good news. I was shocked when I saw this news. You're going to find it interesting as hell when you see it. Because I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, well, all right. So here we go. All about the Howard Chaplain. First Black Divine Nine member, who is now America's youngest bishop. Tell me, won't he do it? Sometimes good news isn't loud. Sometimes it looks like history quietly being made. Howard University has appointed Reverend Dr. Bernard Richardson as the university's chaplain, making him the first Black chaplain at Howard, who is also a member of a Divine Nine fraternity. While that may sound like a lot of titles packed into one sentence, for many people it represents something much larger: faith, scholarship, leadership, and Black tradition coming together at one of our nation's most historic institutions. I went to this damn school. A lot of bougie people there. Howard University has long stood as one of the country's most influential HBCUs. I didn't want to go. My mother forced me. Producing leaders across government, medicine, business, entertainment, and civil rights. The university's chaplain services serves not only as spiritual leaders, but also as a mentor and counselor for students navigating some of the most formative years of their lives. I should have met one of them. Reverend Richardson is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the nation's first intercollegiate Black Greek letter fraternity. His appointment is particularly meaningful because Black Greek organizations have historically been deeply connected to leadership, development, scholarship, service, and civic engagement within Black communities. And can I say something? I love stories like this because they remind us that Black history isn't something we only celebrate in February or learn about in documentaries. It's happening right now. Sometimes we're so busy chasing viral moments that we forget institutions matter. Mentorship matters. Leadership matters. And for real, we've become remarkably good at celebrating celebrity culture while occasionally forgetting to celebrate the people helping build the next generation of leaders. Somewhere right now, there's a student who's going to walk into that office carrying grief, anxiety, uncertainty, or a dream they're afraid to say out loud. The conversation could change their life. No cameras, no trending hashtags, just impact. And that's why representation matters in spaces like this. Students deserve opportunities to see excellence reflected in as many forms as possible. Sometimes that professor, sometimes that mentor, sometimes that chaplain reminding a young person that where they started isn't necessarily where they finish. So the world can give us reasons to be cynical. It's nice when history gives us one to smile instead, because that be taking some shit out of me. Now I'm gonna do my commercial one more damn time, and then we gonna get into celebrity news. We got a few stories, but they're not that many. You might want to hear some. Oh, that god dang it, I just did that. Anyways, you might want to hear some of them. But here goes my commercial real quick. If you like what I'm doing, if you don't like what I'm doing, and you have some suggestions, please come over here respectfully and write down there. Because if not, I will delete your fucking name and I will drag your ass. Okay? There's been a whole bunch of people coming for me, and I keep dragging it. And I keep disappearing this shit. Okay? I will be CIA on your asses in the comments. Don't play with me. So here's my commercial. I'll be right back with celebrity news.
It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam.
Where's my lighter?
It's just me and the fam. It's just me and the fam. Yeah, yeah. It's just me and the fam. See my little Tay, that's my girl, that's my mascot. No one's go for hours and some hours till we pass out. Stay inside the house, turned up with them racks out. Stay inside the house, turned.
All right. So god dang it, now you don't want to be up. This is a struggle stream. Just letting you know, a struggle stream. Get up there. Get the hell up there. Ouch, I bit my tongue. There you go. Atlanta movie mogul Tyler Perry pays for Nolan Wells' funeral. He also has the worst wigs in all movies. I know we've covered several difficult Nolan Wells stories over the past few weeks. Tonight, however, we finally get to talk about an act of kindness. Tyler Perry has stepped in to cover the funeral expenses for 18-year-old Nolan Wells, whose death has captured national attention and left his family searching for answers. Perry, where I need to read the post comments more often. Girl, they be in the reels. They'll be in the short ones fucking with me. And it's connected to my phone, so I see it. Anyways, Let's see here now. Tyler Perry. Okay, Perry reportedly reached out privately after learning about the family's tragedy and offered to ensure they wouldn't have to carry the financial burden of laying their son to rest. Nolan disappeared during a 4th of July gathering on Horn Island, Mississippi. Once again, y'all, minorities, women, all of y'all, I need y'all not to go alone and not to be the only one of whoever the hell you are. If you're the only woman, don't be the only woman. You're the only black person, don't be the only black person. If you're the only Hispanic person, don't be the only Hispanic person. Shit. I need y'all to go in pairs, if not fucking triplets. Shit. Anyways, he disappeared over there. 2 days later, his body was recovered, leaving countless questions unanswered. His official case, official cause of death remains pending as investigators continue their work, and his family continues to seek answers surrounding the circumstances of his death. And if you've been watching this show, then you know this family's pain hasn't stopped there. Nolan's mother has endured unimaginable grief, public speculation, and most recently, anonymous hate mail sent to her home just days before her son's funeral. So I'm grateful tonight that we get to tell a different part of this story. Tyler Perry has quietly paid for funeral expenses for numerous families throughout the years. Most people remember his headline-making donations, but there are also countless stories that don't become press releases. Sometimes generosity is loud. Sometimes it simply shows up when people need it most. So social media has convinced us that kindness doesn't count unless it's live streamed in 4K. I'll be damned. With inspirational background music and 17 hashtags. Man, I didn't record me getting into them damn groups, or it definitely didn't take pictures of me adding people to it. That's never been true. Sometimes changing someone's life looks like writing a check no one was expecting. There's also something I'd like us to remember. Covering funeral expenses doesn't heal grief. It doesn't answer unanswered questions. It doesn't bring somebody's child home. What it does do is remove one burden from a family carrying more than enough already. That's not everything, but sometimes it's something. And finally, because I know somebody's going to say it tomorrow on the internet, no, Tyler Perry should not be expected to save every problem in Black America. We've had that conversation tonight already. But I do believe when people use their resources to lighten someone else's load, it's worth acknowledging. Tonight, the Wells family gets to focus a little less on finances and a little more on saying goodbye to someone they love dearly. The world gives us enough stories about what people take from one another. It's nice to occasionally talk about what people freely give. Good grief, what's wrong with y'all? And then we got another heavy hitter. Now, I would follow her if she was, I feel she's a good civil rights leader. Stand for something. Jennifer Lewis calls out celebrity silence on global issues. There are celebrities, then there is Jennifer Lewis. One in. I just realized she had one in. One gives interviews, the other gives sermons disguised as interviews. Jennifer Lewis is making headlines after saying she believes celebrities should use their platforms to stand for something bigger than themselves. During her conversation with the Griot, Lewis argued that influence comes with responsibility and that remaining silent isn't always an option when communities are hurting. Lewis has never been accused of being quiet about, well, anything. Throughout her career, she's openly discussed mental health, politics, racial justice, addiction recovery, and the importance of speaking the truth even when it's uncomfortable. If honesty was a superpower, somebody would have put her in a Marvel universe years ago. She specifically challenged public figures to think about how they're using their platforms they've been given. Her argument wasn't that celebrities must become politicians or activists overnight. Rather, it was that influence matters, and people shouldn't underestimate their ability to encourage compassion, civic engagement, and meaningful conversations. Now, I can already hear the internet splitting itself into two usual groups. I can't stand either, y'all. Yes, group one, yes, every celebrity should use their platform. No, they shouldn't. Group two, I don't care what celebrities think. Just entertain me. I personally don't care what y'all do, and I'm not entertained by y'all either. Somehow both groups will spend the next 4 hours tweeting about celebrities. Imagine that. We have a fascinating relationship with famous people in America. We simultaneously don't want celebrities telling us what to do, what to think, while demanding they speak immediately whenever something terrible happens. Honestly, I don't want them speaking because half of them can't speak clearly. I'd be like, what did she just say? What the fuck? Like that meme. What did he say? Anyways, we want them vocal, not like that. Shit, I want you to just sing. Shut the fuck up and sing unless you actually got something planned out that's helpful for us. Not no damn twerking, okay? Twerking is for another time, not right now. Man, we want them authentic, not that authentic. We want them involved, not politically involved. It's exhausting. Just listen to us. The truth is celebrities are people. Some will advocate, some won't, some shouldn't. Some will be extraordinarily thoughtful. Some will have mush mouth. Others probably shouldn't have access to Wi-Fi after 9 p.m. I'm on that group. Fame doesn't automatically make someone wise, but neither does it automatically disqualify them from contributing something meaningful. And perhaps that's what I appreciate most about Jennifer Lewis. Agree with her or don't, she has spent years and decades being unapologetic. Was she in that one movie? Was she in that talk? What was that? You know the one down. You know that show. It's not Growing Pains. It's the Black Show. The Black Show. I fucking forgot. And I always like that show. Hold on. I'm gonna do the sound effect, and you might know what I'm talking about. Where is it? I don't have it. You know, Florida. I forgot the name. Was she in that show? You know, one thing is guaranteed. She's going to say exactly what she means and sleep wonderfully afterwards. I ain't got a problem with it. That woman says what she has to say. Was she? I'm still wondering. Was she in that show? Lewis has never met an uncomfortable truth she wasn't willing to introduce herself to, and I ain't afraid about it. Now, this one I shared with people, and now I'm about to share with y'all because it scared the shit out of me when I saw the damn title. Look at this shit here. Hold on.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Why an R. Kelly clemency could spark a surprising cultural embrace. I'm not embracing him. I don't want him touching anybody I know. Can we be honest tonight? Some conversations shouldn't be controversial, but they are. Following his formal request from the orangutan for presidential clemency, conversations about whether R. Kelly deserves forgiveness. Good Times. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Good Times. Wasn't she? She wasn't? Oh, okay. I thought she was in there. Anyways, I thought she was Walona's mama. Anyways, conversations about whether R. Kelly deserves forgiveness. He doesn't. Another chance or even cultural redemption. He doesn't. Has resurfaced. He needs to just go somewhere quietly and live his life and leave children and young teenagers alone. And frankly, some of y'all have been speed running amnesia on social media. R. Kelly is currently serving a combined 31-year federal prison sentence after being convicted in New York on racketeering, sex trafficking charges, and in Illinois on child P and child enticement charges. His projected release date is approximately 20 years from now, unless executive clemency changes that sentence. He has consistently denied wrongdoing. You dirty bastard. Where's my sound effect? And I believe this is the sound effect you was looking for. Where is it? Where is my sound effect that I have? Yeah, here it is.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
This dude ain't getting out to 2040. 2046. You need to sit your ass down. His legal team has formally petitioned the orangutan to commute his sentence. It's important to note that they're not seeking full pardon. A commutation would reduce or eliminate his prison sentence while leaving his convictions intact. That request remains pending. It still means he has access to people. What the hell are you talking about? Now, the Root asks what I think is the more interesting cultural question. If R. Kelly were granted clemency tomorrow, what happens next? He's getting blocked on Spotify for me. Are we prepared to separate the art from the artist? No. Should we, if forgiveness, is forgiveness the same thing as freedom? I don't know. And does cultural acceptance automatically follow legal outcomes? Hell no. And here's my thought. Here's my final thought on this. America has a fascinating relationship with talented people. We routinely ask whether extraordinary talent should purchase extraordinary grace. It shouldn't. Exactly. Right there. A Grammy Award doesn't come with bonus accountability points. That's why I want the diddlers to stay in. Being talented doesn't make victims less harmed. Fame isn't store credit that can be redeemed against consequences. Now, let's also be adults in this conversation. People are allowed to believe in redemption. They're allowed to believe people can change. I just want him to go get a small house away from people and live his life away from people. Those are legitimate philosophical and religious positions. What they are not allowed to do is rewrite history because nostalgia started playing in the background. No amount of "but I believe I can fly" changes court records. I had to sing that in choir. Oh my gosh. And before somebody says, well, Michael Jackson, or what about so-and-so? No, we're not playing whataboutism bingo tonight. We're talking about this case. The truth is clemency answers one question. Whether one should continue serving their sentence, he should. It doesn't answer whether they're owed our admiration, our dollars, our playlists, or our cultural acceptance. He doesn't. Those are separate conversations entirely. I'm putting them together, me. Perhaps that's the surprising cultural debate. The root is really talking about not whether R. Kelly could be released one day, that's scary, but whether we're becoming increasingly uncomfortable allowing consequences to simply be consequences. No, he has to pay. Nostalgia is not an alibi, and being gifted has never been the same thing as being good, okay? God dang it. Now, one last story about Angel Reese. Why would you say this stupid shit? WNBA coach apologized to Reese. I didn't know there were this many stories. Reese for calling her a protected species during a game. I would like to begin tonight by making revolutionary suggestions for 2026. Perhaps we should stop making Angel Reese explain why she deserves basic respect after 3 business days. Angel Reese found herself yet again at the center of another controversy after, what does half a name? Sandy Brondello referred to her as a protected species during a game between the Atlanta Dream and the Toronto Tempo. The comment came after Brondello became frustrated with officiating following an injury to Toronto player Nyara Sabali. In Australia, the phrase is commonly used in sports to suggest that an athlete receives preferential treatment from officials. In the United States, however, referring to a black woman as a species carries a very different and painful historical context. Words travel differently depending on where you land and where they land. Following the game, Reese responded on social media with "Are we surprised?" accompanied by a clown emoji. Shortly afterward, Brondello issued a public apology, taking full responsibility for her words and specifically acknowledged their impact on black women in the league. The apology read differently than many celebrity apologies we've become accustomed to. There was no "I'm sorry if anyone's offended," no blaming social media, no claiming everyone was too sensitive, just accountability. That's good. The WNBA subsequently suspended Brondello without pay for one game, citing the league's expectations of professionalism and respect from coaches and team personnel. This is never going to be this long again. There were just too many damn stories. Now, here's where this gets stupid. I'm beginning to think Angel Reese deserves freaking flyer miles for the amount of baggage people project on her. If she's confident, she's arrogant. If she's emotional, she's dramatic. If she's competitive, she's aggressive. If she defends herself, she's divisive. It's exhausting, and somehow we're still pretending we don't see the pattern. And before anyone starts fighting in my comment section, 2 things can absolutely be true at the same time. I keep telling y'all that. Sandy Brondello can have an honest cultural mistake, and Angel Reese can have been justified in feeling hurt by it. Accountability and grace are roommates. They are not enemies. I'm just saying. Now, what I appreciate most about this story isn't that someone made a mistake. Human beings are exceptionally talented at that. If what we're seeing is what accountability is supposed to look like when mistakes happen. Someone was hurt, someone apologized. There was consequences, and hopefully there was growth. What a concept! Angel Reese has become many things in the public imagination. Protected has never been one of them. For real. And that is it for celebrity news. Finally, we have about 3 stories and we're done, and I'll get you through them all. Now it is time for health. Yay. Give me just a second. We're almost done. I didn't know there would be that many stories. All about clinical trials. What are they? What they are, how they work, and why representation matters. I already was in a clinical one for cancer. So how about that? Let me ask you a question. Would you feel comfortable taking medication that was never properly tested on people who look like you? Exactly. Tonight's health news isn't sexy. It's not trending on social media, but it might be one of the most important stories we've covered all evening. Clinical trials are the research studies that help determine whether medications, vaccines, medical devices, and treatments are both safe and effective before they're made widely available. Without them, modern medicine simply doesn't exist. The problem? Black Americans have historically been underrepresented in many of these studies. And before somebody immediately screams, Tuskegee! In the comments section, yes, history matters. The medical community earned much of the distrust that exists today through horrific abuses, including the infamous syphilis study that exploited Black men for decades. This trust doesn't exist in a vacuum. But here's why representation matters. Different populations can respond differently to medication and treatments. Age matters, genetics matters, sex matters, underlying health conditions matter. If clinical trials don't adequately represent the people who will ultimately use these treatments, then we're leaving important questions unanswered. And here's what I really want to dig in. It's amazing how often society expects Black people to trust systems that have historically failed to include us, while simultaneously questioning why we might have questions. Now, participating in clinical trials isn't for everyone, and that's okay. No one should ever feel pressure to participate in one. I got $40. I didn't ask for it. They gave it to me. I didn't even know I was going to get it. The point is informed choice. You deserve to know what clinical trials are, how they work, what protections exist for participants today, and why diverse representation matters. Modern clinical trials are governed by strict ethical guidelines that include informed consent requirements, institutional reviews, and ongoing safety monitoring designed to protect participants. Medicine has evolved substantially because it had to. And perhaps this is the biggest takeaway tonight. Representation isn't simply about television screens and movie casts. It's about doctor offices, laboratories, and medical breakthroughs. Because when we say healthcare should work for everyone, we should probably make sure everyone was invited to the study. If medicine is supposed to be personalized, perhaps medical research should remember that people come in more than one model. Here's my last. This is the second to last. The next story is the last. The next story after this one is the last. But this is something for young people in sporting areas. Pay attention to this. Keep young people safe during large sporting events, because we don't want another Carmelo either. It's summertime, which means we're outside. Concerts, sporting events, festivals, and family reunions are everywhere. And if you've ever taken a child anywhere with more than 12 people, you already know they possess a supernatural ability to disappear the moment you look down at your phone. Tonight's health news is less about fear and more about preparation. Health experts are reminding parents that large sporting events can quickly become overwhelming for young people because of the heat, crowd, noise, and simple fact that children don't always recognize when something is wrong until it's very wrong. The biggest concerns, I might have to dip out early. Girl, I'm almost done. The biggest concerns include dehydration, heat-related illnesses, getting separated from family members, and sensory overload, particularly for younger children. Experts recommend making sure children remain hydrated throughout the day and taking regular breaks from both the sun and excitement. And parents, I need us to stop treating water like it's optional side quest. If it's 93 degrees outside and your child has consumed nothing but blue raspberry sports drinks, cotton candy, and vibes since noon, we're already losing. Experts also recommend taking a photo of your child before arriving at an event. That way, if they become separated from you, you'll have an accurate picture of exactly what they're wearing that day. It's one of those simple safety tips that people don't think about until they desperately wish they had. Another recommendation is creating a family safety plan before arriving. Picking a meeting location. Teach children who they can safely approach for help. And for older children, make sure they know important phone numbers instead of depending entirely on their phone to remember everything for them. So children are simultaneously brilliant and terrifying. They'll solve technology problems that would send me directly to customer service while also believing they can successfully navigate a stadium containing 60,000 strangers because they saw a balloon they liked. Respectfully, no. And one final thing. Please don't underestimate sensory overload. Loud noises, large crowds, and long days can become emotionally exhausting for children much faster than they do for adults. Sometimes the safest thing you can do is recognize when it's time to go home instead of squeezing one more activity into the day. Because no child has ever looked back 20 years later and said, my childhood was ruined because we left the baseball game 30 minutes early. Children have two settings at public events. I'm having the best day of my life, and I'm tired, sticky, emotionally overwhelmed, and suddenly incapable of walking. There is no middle setting, okay? Be ready for that. That's it for the regular news. We only got one other story left, and that is animals are trying to take over. And I have proof because I can't understand this story, and once you see it, you won't understand it either, because this was fucked up. Where the hell is that crazy-ass story? I know I put it right here. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Here you go. Dog rescued from mountain after consuming marijuana. You see that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the animals have officially stopped asking permission. They're just out here making choices. Tonight's contestant is a dog named Bran, who decided that hiking Scotland's tallest mountain wasn't adventurous enough. No, Bran looked at a bag of marijuana and said, you know what? This seems like an excellent life decision. Spoiler alert, it was not. Bran and his owner were hiking Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the United Kingdom, when the curious canine got into some marijuana along the way. Shortly afterward, Bran became unable to continue the hike and required assistance from the mountains with a mountain rescue. Where the hell is my damn sound effect for this shit here? There you go. There you go. And it was
at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Now, I have questions. First of all, Bran was hiking Scotland's highest mountain. That's already enough excitement for one afternoon. Secondly, how? Was he actively looking for it? Did he think it was a snack? Did another dog whisper, trust me, bro, before disappearing into the wilderness? The world may never know. Mountain rescue volunteers responded to help transport Bran safely off the mountain after he became lethargic and unable to continue hiking. Thankfully, he is expected to make full recovery. And you know, seriously, animals become remarkably comfortable behaving as though they pay taxes around here. We've had a deer breaking into homes, bears opening car doors, raccoons committing what can only be described as organized retail theft. And now we have mountain climbing dogs accidentally discovering recreational substances in Scotland. Oh, this is great. This is great. I have so much faith for the future, don't you? Seriously, I feel so secure. At this point, I'm convinced the animals are simply documenting our weaknesses for whatever comes next. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate the mountain rescue workers? Imagine answering your radio. What's the emergency? We've got a dog. Oh no, did he fall? No. Is he injured? No. What happened? He's high. I'm sorry? He's high on a mountain. The poor dispatcher deserves a raise. The important takeaway tonight is that marijuana can be dangerous for pets, and owners should seek veterinary care immediately if they believe their animal has ingested it. Brand will thankfully live to make more questionable decisions another day. So, somewhere in Scotland, a dog has a fascinating story that absolutely no one is going to believe at the dog park. And that's it for the news. I want to thank y'all so much for coming. Let me get this goddamn thing off. I keep trying to get it off. That's that damn thing. Hold on. Down. There we go. I just want to say thank y'all for coming. Hope to see y'all on Friday night when we have this metaphorical funeral. Maybe I won't be so batshit crazy the next time. And I do apologize for the extra 38 minutes. I just didn't realize there were going to be that many stories. But please pay attention to the very first headline story because we need to get that out. The news has not reported it. That's it. Good night. I love y'all. Without y'all, I'll be nothing. Thank you. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.
I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul. On the road, I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul. On the road.